Welcome one and all here to the Riyadh Masters, where we continue this group stage action to try and determine which teams will wind up in the playoffs and who, of course, will be competing for that all-important $5 million grand prize. We are here to witness some incredible Dota. We've already seen some pretty high action today, and I have a high expectation that the rest of the games are going to be equally as exciting. So let us get into this day of hype. Let's get into this day of action. My name is Snare. I'm going to be your host for the rest of the day, for the rest of these proceedings. The more important thing, though, is that we are in a city that's pretty much built customly for some gaming action. To join me, though, on panel is going to be Mira, Effie, I've got Lacoste, and I have Faith Beyond. Faith Beyond, my friend, this is your former team. They're the great defending champions. How do you feel watching them come into this building to try and get into the grand final yet again?
It's a very strange feeling for me because last year I was in this team. So this year I'm really looking forward what they can do, and I hope they can have a good game in this match. Yeah.
We're all hoping that PSG.LGD can do well, but unfortunately, Lacoste, they have a pretty strong customer that they have to deal with right now. G.Gladiators, currently regarded as the best team in the world. The results back that up as well. Can anybody deal with them? Like,
yeah,
be honest, give me an option. How deep is the matchup right now?
Yeah, I think there are like 2-3 good teams that I'm looking that could potentially beat the Gaming Gladiators. This one could be maybe even the grand finals of the Riyadh Masters. I think PSG.LGD, they have a really good shot because Gaming Gladiators, they've been the final boss throughout the whole DPC tour, all the majors, Dream Leagues, they've been doing extremely well. It's just very, very difficult. We might need to organize all of us together, panelists, community, all other teams to try to beat Gaming Gladiators.
Yeah, we need to sort of crowdfund as much humanly possible resources, a lot of mental fortitude to try and deal with Gaming Gladiators as they stand right now. They've gone back to back to back to back to back, all gold, pretty much every time they've done it. Effie, it's been a very long time since we've seen this degree of dominance in the Dota landscape, right? And every time that that's happened, they only fall short at TI. Everything else they end up rinsing, right? So does that suggest that Gaming Gladiators will do this again? But I also know that you're an LGD fangirl, so hit me with it.
That's true, that's true.
How much faith do you have in Jawed and the boys to make the comeback and defend their championship here at Riyadh Masters?
In this matchup,
yeah.
I think Gaming Gladiators are a really difficult matchup for PSG.LGD. PSG are a very strong team in terms of their draft and their innovation and their ability to, execute team fights very well, play the map very well, defend their carry very well. But what they aren't the best at is their laning phase, actually. And a team like Gaming Gladiators, who excels in the laning phase, may pose to be a big problem for PSG because we saw in Bali that they couldn't really hold a candle to them when it comes to lanes.
Another issue that we sometimes saw at Bali Lacoste is not only could they have difficulty in the laning phase from LGD side, but sometimes they'd have difficulty closing out games, even when in an advantageous position. Talk to me about that. What do you think the issue is, and do you think they can have solved it coming into Riyadh Masters?
I mean, throughout the DPC, they looked really good in China. It's the team that swapped out the 3 offlaners. These are some really big shoes to fill, to replace Faith Beyond. So they are like, okay, we were going to try with this one. It's not working out. So every single DPC, a little bit of lack of experience, I would say, because they have 2 veterans. They have nothing to say and why on the team. The rest of the team needs slightly more time, I would say. They look very, very good, but also when it comes down to matches that matters, these are not the results that PSG.LGD wants to have at the end of the season. You know that they want to be going to the finals. They're looking for that first spot.
Well, a team that has no shortage of experience right now in the Dota landscape is Gaming Gladiators. They remain the final boss of 2023. Let's take a quick look at their journey coming into the Riyadh Masters.
Gaming Gladiators is a team that, if you look at it from the outside, it just seems like a bunch of guys having fun and then miraculously coming first every LAN they go to. It is pretty impressive, but it does feel like this is a team that everybody brings their own personality to the table and it clicks, which is very important in a team.
I mean, I think it's important for me actually that if I have some guy that I'm gonna lane with, and also just the team in general, that we create some really good friendship and bond like that, especially my lane partner. Outside the game, if you are close with each other and you like being together, you also talk about the lane easy, and any issue you can just bring it up. So that I think is very important for me. I played with a lot of players, and a lot of players I can't really have that with. Like for me and Tofu, it clicked like very fast, and we have that, right? Nothing really felt different from the other tournaments. I don't think it's like, if anything, I think it's a good thing for our team. Because I think one of the strengths of our team is that we don't really go into despair or like tilt or like fight like that. We just always like have good values and keep a good atmosphere, no matter the pressure. Also like the same when we play on stage and stuff. And I played in a lot of teams, and some teams it's not really the same. Like there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of despair, like when things goes wrong. And we don't have any of that.
1, 2, 3, GG!
So I think like high stakes, in theory, it should be good for us.
Gaimin Gladiators has won all 3 majors of 2023. It's been pretty amazing, to be honest. Like watching them, it's the fact that they have their own identity and what makes them so consistent in terms of what they do. I think that is allowing them to have the success that they have. It feels like we heard in an interview from Tofu that from everybody else's responsibility to beat us. It's nothing to do with like us stepping down. We're gonna keep bringing the game that we bring, and if you can't surpass us, then we're just gonna keep winning.
I feel like through this whole year, there's been a lot of times where the team was like needed a bit more relaxing time, like probably just 1 week more to like be at home and not think about Dota. Because usually when we win a tournament, there's a little bit like a week or 2 maybe till we have to play again. But it's also we also have to start practicing again because the patch just drops and it like kind of fucks us every time. Yeah, we are definitely, that's one of the biggest things we've been fighting. I think is like when can we chill a little bit.
I think the biggest hurdles for Gaimin Gladiators to overcome is the fact that they've got the target on their back. They have to basically say, everybody knows what we're doing, everybody's spending ample amount of time studying our replays, and we're gonna have to still bring it to them every single series.
The final boss of Dota 2 right now, Gaimin Gladiators, preparing to get themselves into yet another matchup. And of course, we heard from Ace, and right now, Faith Beyond, a lot of people talk about how special Ace is as a player, but as a world-class offlaner yourself, talk to us about what do you think is so special about this guy that allows him to keep winning so many tournaments?
Okay, I think 2 special things on Ace is, first, he's incredibly stable. Like every game you can see he play very good and he very fat. And the second thing is he kind of farm more than other offlane players. I think to do these 2 things, as a player, if you want to be like player at Ace, you have to have a great understanding, game understanding, and you have to know how to communication with your team. So that way you can like make a good game for yourself and told your teammate how to make a good game for you. And so in that way, this game will naturally focus on you, around you. So Ace is a very good player.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned communication because when we spoke to PSG.LGD FE during the DPC, every single player that we spoke to, the thing they highlighted about what makes LGD special in China was communication, was the degree of understanding they have for one another. To what degree do you think that communication is going to help, especially from someone like Zhao8 going into a matchup against this team of Gaimin Gladiators?
That's a very good question, actually. So I think that this iteration of LGD do seem to be in a place where their communication is really solid, especially given how they shifted their offlaners so much this year. They seem like they're in a place with New, where everything clicks, where Zhao8 as a coach is giving his input, and everybody has a voice on the team. But honestly, it didn't feel like that was the case a few months ago at all. But their communication has stepped up. But if I were to compare it to Gaimin Gladiators and what we know of them, I still think there's some work to be done, which is just par for the course of having a new player. It still takes a few months of integration. But I do hope that we're going to see the execution that comes from the communication that you're talking about.
Execution has not really been an issue when they play in China, Lacoste. You know, you've costed a lot of their games, but there's a very stark difference playing in China, coming out of the region, and having to deal with these European juggernauts especially, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I think all eyes are on Western Europe in the last year and a half, 2 years pretty much, because they've been dominating the scene. China got weaker after, you know, we had to get rid of some of the teams, some of the players as well, so the competition is not as strong. And in a lot of the interviews you would see, you would actually feel that they're looking into the Western Europe and trying to figure out like what makes them so strong. So you have some of these teams that are playing in this tournament, like Extreme Gaming, that are trying to like play more Westernized style Dota. PSG.LGD, they're still sticking to what they know. They're playing, you know, Zhao8, what he's cooking. The boys are gonna eat, no doubt about it. But yeah, they also need to adapt pretty much to this like fast-paced Dota that Western Europe has been playing.
Well, to be fair, that team does have Zhao 8 in it. It also has Innocence. Both of them TI winners in their own regard. Both of them have been masters of their particular metas. So I have no doubt that this is a team that can adapt if need be, especially from China. But let's take a look at exactly how they got here and what their expectations are for the rest of the tournament. Oh, we do not have the VT, so we're just waiting right now for the games to get started. That was on me, my bad. So,
well, I can add on to that
yes,
if
please
you'd
do.
like. So I think that adaptability is really important, like Lacoste mentioned, especially in the early game, because PSG, once they get to that mid-game, they feel unstoppable, right? It feels like their teamwork is so good and their formation is so tight-knit. They hold their area so well and they fight around Roshan so well. But the issue is that first 10 minutes, maybe they do need to up the pace a little bit. But in terms of creativity, I feel like this is probably one of the more creative teams we've seen this entire year. I mean, they were running the carry Clinks, they were running the carry Brood, which only a few teams were doing a few months ago before they were willing to. They're the ones who brought Brood back into the meta. They were the first team to play it in Dream League, and they made it a thing again.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, PSG.LGD in terms of versatility, one of the most versatile teams out there. If you want to play for the team, you need to play all the heroes. Zhao 8 picks you something, you better know how to play the hero. Innocence, like Dream League Season 20, he played 18 different heroes on position 5, which is more than impressive, and he plays it super well. I think the one that stands out the most in terms of versatility on side of PSG.LGD is New. So far they had 3 offlaners. He's the newest addition to the team. Also, hero pool not as big, one of the reasons why they got rid of some of their old offlaners, but he's been fitting in nicely.
Faithbian, what do you think? LGD right now, because they are the best team in China, do you think there's added pressure for them to perform well, to represent the region? Not only are they the best team, but they're the only team that's at TI. So is there a little bit of extra weight on their shoulders right now?
I think it's okay because they already guaranteed for TI. In this tournament, I think every team have a kind of pressure because it's a big prize pool. So I think every team have same pressure. But the problem for LGD is I think the player is quite young. So maybe it's a problem to how to deal with the pressure. Yeah.
What's interesting for me, Effie, when we talk about pressure, right, is that Gaimin Gladiators having won so much, one would imagine that there's additional pressure on them. But you see Celery tweeting about, oh, guys, we're trying to reset, we're going back to 0. I don't believe it. I think it's cap. You know, they definitely are thinking very carefully about the situation. But let's hope and pray. Do you think, well, quickly, do you think they actually have what it takes to deal with that pressure, or are they just coping right now?
Nah, they got what it takes. Come on. You don't win 5 grand finals in a row if you can't deal with pressure.
All right. Let's see if they have what it takes to actually keep cooking as we send it over to Neil on the stage.
You heard it from the panel. We're currently facing off the final boss of Dota against a very storied organization of PSG.LGD.
شيء فظيع اللي راح نشهده الآن أعزائي المشاهدين. هذه المباراة تعتبر هي أحد الجراند فاينل اللي ممكن نشهدها في رياض ماستر. أبطال العالم متواجدين معنا اليوم بيقدمون لنا مباراة ما لها مثيل.
And this matchup has some recent history as well, because it was Gaimin Gladiators that took down PSG.LGD in Dream League Season 20.
في الفترة الأخيرة في الموسم العشرين من الدريم ليج شفنا أن فريق Gaimin Gladiators قدروا يأخذون الفوز على طول من فريق PSG.LGD. فهل يقدرون يعيدون الكرة اليوم في مسرح رياض ماسترز؟ هذا اللي راح نشهده إن شاء الله.
Now, if Gaimin are to continue this trend, that would mean that they're on their way to a $5 million first place prize here.
$5 مليون الجائزة المركز الأول أعزائي المشاهدين. هذا شيء ما يستهان فيه، وأكيد بحكم إنه كل شيء إحنا نعرفه عن فريق Gaimin Gladiators أكيد إنه بيكونون جاهزين للنقطة هذه.
These guys need no introduction, but let's give them one anyway. They continue dominating the entire Dota Pro circuit. First place time after time. They double qualified for this event. 2 first places at Dream League Season 20. Give some space for the rest of the teams.
فريق Gaimin Gladiators الكل يعرف عن الشيء الفظيع اللي هم مسوينه الآن في البطولة. زي ما احنا عارفين 5 جراند فاينلز كلها ميجرز السنة هذه، قدروا يكسبون المركز الأول فيها وما في ولا فريق يقدر أنه يوقف قدامهم. هم حاليا يسمون الفاينل باس في كل أنحاء العالم، ما حد يقدر يوقف قدامهم. PSG ممكن أنهم يقدرون يسوونها.
Now, typically, the team that wins the last major is usually cursed to not win TI, but this ain't TI. So if they're on their way, they've got to go through PSG.LGD first, who are the champions of last year's Riyadh Masters.
زي ما احنا عارفين المباراة هذه اللي يميزها أيضاً أنه فيها حاملي اللقب من السنة الماضية. فريق PSG.LGD كانوا في هذا المسرح في قبل سنة بالضبط وقدروا أنهم يقدمون مباراة جداً جداً فظيعة.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gaimin Gladiators. Now, obviously, after a group stage that many of the other teams have been going through, the play-in stage, these guys are still looking to get their bearings. But I imagine that they will continue a top-tier performance every single time. The only question is, are they going to make it to grand finals through upper bracket or lower bracket?
هذا هو السؤال فعلا اللي ممكن نسأله، انه هالفريق هذا اللي يعتبرون هم الافضل في المنطقة حاليا وفي العالم ايضا، هم الافضل من المتواجدين معنا، مين اللي بيقدر يهزمهم؟ المباراة هذه زي ما احنا عارفين شفناها في وقت جدا جدا قريب وقدروا انهم يفوزون على الفريق الخصم، لكن جاء الوقت اعزائنا المشاهدين اننا نشوف مين خصمهم في هذه المباراة. كلكم تعرفونهم، تكلمنا عنهم كثير، بس خلونا نتعرف عليهم ايضا.
And for their opponents, let's bring out China's best and brightest.
حامل اللقب لرياض ماسترز 2022 PSG.LGD. فريق يعتبر من أصغر الفرق المتواجدة معنا اليوم في رياض ماسترز، حتى مع إضافة نيو معهم كآخر اديشن في الروستر أدائهم يعتبر من الأفضل. لكن السؤال هنا، هل الضغط اللي ممكن انه يواجهونه في تواجدهم في هذا المسرح ممكن يأثر على أدائهم في المباراة ولا لا؟ هذا الشيء راح نعرفه بعد قليل.
Seems like the crowd might already have a little bit of a favorite here at Riyadh Masters 2023. The top 6 finish at the Bali Major was an impressive result for PSG.LGD, and they may be the best chance to take down the Western European dominance that has been shown this whole year.
معروف الشيء هذا عن فريق PSG.LGD انه هو الفريق اللي عنده الفرصة الأعلى انه يهزم فريق G.Gladiators، فخلنا نشوف إذا يقدرون انهم يقدمون المباراة هذه في البست اوف 2 اللي راح نشوفها بعد قليل.
Well, let's get underway with the second half of the day, Fancy. Gentlemen, let's begin the draft and start this game of Dota.
جاء الوقت اللي نبدأ فيه المباراة أعزائنا المشاهدين، نروح على طول للاستوديو التحليلي نتكلم أكثر عن الدرافت ونبدأ في الجيم الأول.
Not only does the crowd have some favorites in the form of PSG.LGD, we have a fanboy, a fangirl, and a former member on the panel. So very high hopes, no pressure, guys. Please make this very entertaining. One of the things, Effie, that we see about PSG.LGD, we were speaking about it just now. Sometimes their early map movements could be an issue. And one of the heroes we've seen at this tournament that has been breaking the early map movements has been this Lion hero. Unfortunately, though, Gaimin Gladiators have a much better record playing with the Lion than we see from PSG.LGD. Planet does play the hero, played it 19 times, it only has like a 30% win rate. Tofu, on the other hand, has played it a few more times than that, 23 games with a 70% win rate. Do you think this hero is going to be coming up when these two teams play against each other?
I think potentially we might see Lion come out of Gaimin, and maybe it'll come out of LGD if it needs to counter something like a Morphling or a Puck, but I don't like Lion so much for PSG. I would very much rather Planet just play a lane securing type of support to make sure that they withstand the first 10 minutes versus Gaimin, because like I mentioned before, their transition into the mid game is so smooth. The issue is they can't enter it with a net worth deficit versus Gaimin. So I would just like to see them triple down on winning their side lanes as much as they can on the side of LGD.
Okay, Lacoste, which heroes stand out to you as potential options? You've costed this team a lot, you've seen what they have to offer. What should LGD be doing to try and ensure that that early game goes as smoothly as it can?
Yeah, strong lanes, nothing to say. He has like a couple of these lane dominators that he likes to play. You know, he might bang out some Huskar if it's a good matchup for him. Primal Beast, Thinker, gotta always be aware of these heroes. So I think overall, PSG.LGD might be the most difficult team to draft against because they have so many heroes in Arsenal that they play so well. Hard to say which one specific hero. You mentioned Lion. This hero has been on the rise. I feel, ever since every time Kaka shows up at the tournament, he's like, Lion. There we go. It's gonna be super popular. But yeah, Lion right now played the 19 games, sitting over 50% win rate, which is not too bad. Wasn't really popular at the start of the DPC, but seems like meta slightly shifted, especially with the D or E patch. Was it E patch?
E patch.
E patch. There we go.
But I'm curious what Faithian has to say about Lion and the rise of support heroes.
Lion is a good support. You have a directly stun and a burst damage. I think it's also kind of hero fit for tournament because you can always get good initiation. Yeah.
Earlier on, Faithian, you were talking about this Primal Beast hero and how much you think it should be played more often and how much it should be on the rise. Gaimin Gladiators do not play this hero whatsoever, right? They didn't play it at all at Bali. They barely played, I think, one game at Berlin. Do you think it's a stylistic choice that they're making? Is this a decision that, guys, we don't need Primal Beast? Or do you think they should actually also be looking towards practicing it for Quinn in the mid lane?
I think it depends on player. If player don't want to play this hero, then it's fine. You can just find something else to replace it. If you can find a solution to this hero and find something to replace it, then it's fine. Just don't play it. Yeah.
Well, Gaimin Gladiators have found solutions to pretty much everything. Let's be honest. It's like Tofu said, and BSJ reminded us, it's on everybody else to try to find solutions to deal with them. So I'm kind of hoping that we do finally get a different finals for this particular tournament. Right now, as they're practicing and getting themselves ready, Effie, I want to talk to you about a very unfortunate thing. Zhao 8's drafts, right? I love them. We all love them, right? But sometimes, do they not sometimes feel a bit too experimental, where you're like, I don't know if this actually meshes together. You can see the individual ideas, but you're not sure how all the pieces fit together at times.
So I think that for the most part, his drafting is very clean. I think that something that PSG.LGD and other Chinese teams actually struggle with is their game 3 draft, right? In these best of 3s or in these grand final situations out of 5, that's when the choking happens. When you're so close to it, like that game 3 draft, that game 4 draft in a best of 5, suddenly you're running back a Naga like you did in Arlington, and maybe you shouldn't have done that. And this happens quite often because the pressure is very high, where a lot happens in a draft, and sometimes you just forget certain things, or you let a hero slip, or maybe you answer one issue in the enemy draft and you forget the other.
Let's also talk about the stylistic way that these two teams play the map, right? We've spoken very much about how LGD like to enter the mid game in a very strong fashion. Carry to carry wise, right? The way that they play as we are getting into the draft at long last, one thing that we notice is that Shiro is very often not the one that takes the responsibility in the team, right? NTS is literally the responsibility guard, but it's sort of the opposite for Gaimin Gladiators. Ace is the one that's the focal point, right? So as we get into the draft, who do you want to see being prioritized in the early phases for both of these teams?
I think we're gonna see some strong position 5 openers, most definitely. You know, Undying. I mean, as we see, there's been Undying has started off great previous patch, but this time around slightly nerfed, and we can see that he does, in terms of win rate, definitely dropped. So there's another healing partner in the lane that kind of popped up, and that's Io. Enchantress, no real surprises there, because PSG.LGD, they seem to be doing a good job in terms of homework, because Gaimin Gladiators have been playing these heroes like Io Lash. This, whenever they're feeling down, if they lose a game, this is bread and butter for Gaimin Gladiators. They're gonna fall back to it. And Enchantress, another hero that Celery has been playing. I think he played 100 games of Enchantress in the last 7-8 months.
Yeah. Well, this IO has also been on the rise in this tournament. Coming into the group stages, it was played 13 times with a 69% win rate.
Nice.
We've already seen it win 3 or 4 times earlier today as well. So, Faithian, is it just TI season? Because every year, when TI is around the corner, IO just seems to come back into the meta. So, does it just feel that way every single year?
Kind of, because IO, you can offer a lot of healing, and you can speed up the tempo to push the early stage.
Yep.
So it's a very important thing on tournament, you pressure enemy.
tempo is very important, but I feel that IO just became the replacement to Pugna, right? Because a lot of the drafts that people were running, like the Pugna Storm, the Pugna Leshrac, for example, they still want to play these heroes. These heroes are still good, but Pugna's sustain is not quite what it was pre-E-patch. So you bring in the IO instead, who kind of lost to Pugna for a little bit, but after the nerf, he was like, hey, you guys forgot about me? I still do my job. I still heal.
So they have some heals on the side of LGD in the form of this Phoenix, the Spirit Breaker, not a hero we see from them all the time, Lacoste. But this opener from Gaimin, we've seen, unfortunately, way too many times.
Yeah, even after all these nerfs, like every single patch, something happens with Pango. He's just too good of a hero and provides with pretty much everything. You are good, like instant wave clear, a lot of team fight, mana burden, which is annoying against most of the heroes. A little surprised, I would say, that they managed to give them both of these heroes in the first phase, but considering how fast LGD picked these two heroes, it seems like they're cooking something. And with the, you said, sustain from Phoenix and also Spirit Breaker, one of the better overall heroes against the Broodmother, because you can always have vision on her, so you need like another hero to be able to kill it. And now Gladiators, they're just protecting their Pango pick. The other one that they could still ban, I would feel, is Ember Spirit. This hero in hands of Nothing to Say has been amazing, and also just like I've seen like also other way around, but I feel like just for the laning stage you might need to ban it out.
So let's see, Mars has been removed. That's been a classic combo within the Chinese region, the Phoenix Mars, for many, many years. Right now we've seen Bloodseeker not just do well against Pango Brood, but also just be very good in the meta right now. Talk to me about something, Faith Beyond. Do you like that PSG.LGD have opened with what seems to be their two supports?
I think this opening is very interesting because first I think both teams they knew they want Broodmaster, Broodmother, sorry. LGD didn't ban Broodmother, and they clicked these two heroes pretty quick. It means they have prepared for this, and their idea is kind of, I can catch you with Spirit Breaker, and I can guarantee the team fight with Phoenix. It's very interesting. I respect this idea. Yeah.
I think what this idea is lacking is something that's going to come out in the second phase, which is a secondary hero to chase the Brood with the Spirit Breaker, because he's probably the best hero in Dota if you want to counterplay Brood on the map. You just need someone who can bots in and join the fight. You need something like a Storm who can zip in with you and also kill the Broodmother. So I think that in the second phase we'll most likely see the mid hero come out, just because they don't want another phase of bans protecting the best ones that play against the Brood. But I also really like the Phoenix, in that Phoenix is a hero. Once he gets levels, you can just plant Phoenix on lanes with Fire Spirits and just drop them. Right? You just drop them and you outpush these Brood lanes and these Brood spiders.
Effie.
What's up?
Who's going mid? I see a Jakiro coming out for PSG.LGD, so presumably that's going to be the support. So is this Spirit Breaker mid for Nothing to Say?
I think it's Spirit Breaker post 3, I think.
Post 3,
Yeah.
Okay.
Still keeping things open, but that's a lot of early damage. Phoenix, Spirit Breaker, they can easily move around the map, and you also have heroes that deal well with the push coming out from Broodmother. It's not, your typical Axe Tidehunter type of a hero that just sits in front and with Vanguard can be killed, but it's more about being annoying with the spell damage. If they need an egg hitter, Snapfire still in a pull, provides with a lot of team fight, synergizes nicely with Pangolier, Lil Shredder. Also, from time to time, Gaming Gladiators, if they're playing against Phoenix, if they need that extra attack damage, extra attack speed, they could pick up, either like Mirana.
I think it's quite interesting, actually, to go for these two AoE damage ground spell type of supports, because I feel like this is very easy to play around. Normally, you want the supports to kind of not sit back and do the same thing. You want one that positions itself a little bit differently. So it makes it so that heroes like Disruptor, with enough vision, can catch them off guard, right? And I really love the Disruptor idea here, not just because they're playing against the Phoenix and the silence will be valuable, but also because you're playing against Spirit Breaker, who, like Faithion mentioned, is most likely their offliner. So all of a sudden, the kinetic field plus the glimpse, all of these motion inhibiting type of spells are that much more valuable. But I am curious, Faithion, you mentioned that the Spirit Breaker is probably the offlane hero. So I'm wondering how you think, what do you think this hero gives as an offlaner that makes it more valuable than something like a Pipe Buyer?
I think Actually it's a strong stun in team fight, and in late game you can like push the lane very fast, and also you can always stay on another lane and wait to join the fight. So it makes you can make more pressure on lane to enemy.
And do you think that it has any weaknesses in lane that can be exploited by Gaimin Gladiators?
Yeah, I think Spirit Breaker is quite weak on lane, so that might be a problem for LGD.
LGD right now have to make the decision: are we getting the Shiro hero or the NCS hero? Heard some mention of some of the spirits, some Storm, some Ember spirits. Unfortunately, Lacoste, yes, the Ember comes out, but they already have the Disruptor. So if he's not playing carefully in this game, he could wind up in a very awkward position in the mid lane.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about Ember. There's like Arrow, there's Panga Roll. These are easy spells to dodge from his side, and also has a little bit of a backup, Spirit Breaker charging in. You have Sunray on top of it to provide a little bit of extra sustain. Gaimin Gladiators, they don't have that much control, so looking like a really good Ember Spirit game. I want to go back slightly more to Gaimin Gladiators picks, because it's all about vision. Like Moonlight Shadow, you go around, get the ganks going. You also have Broodmother with the Spiderlings providing vision, plus the Glimpse, that's always going to be really good. And also random swashbuckle damage. Like these two supports, they don't like to play into any kind of chip damage, so there's going to be like an Arrow, Broodmother going from a different angle, and also swashbuckles. So I feel like two supports inside of PSG.LGD, what they're playing into, are going to struggle a bit.
Yeah, I think that once Ember Spirit gets his BKB, and we've seen it become more and more often that Embers are getting BKB second item, then this Disruptor plus Murano support duo is going to be very easy to take advantage of. That is if PSG's side lanes don't go badly, because it's very important that Ember does have side lanes to play on when he wants to get kills, when he wants to make rotations.
Yeah.
So these supports on the side of PSG can be very exploitable on lane, and I wouldn't be surprised if Gaimin went for something like a Slark, you know, something that can also hit the egg, something that can lean well into the Spirit Breaker, something that can make it so that these squishy supports are more punishable.
Do they not maybe lack a bit of team fight if they do go for something like a Slark? FaithBeyond, what do you think? What kind of hero would maybe give them a bit more team fight, but also the damage that they need to bring the draft together for GG?
For GG, I'm not sure. They can actually pick post 1 or post 3 here. It depends what they think. I think for now LGD is pretty weak on the lane, and maybe Gaimin support Disruptor and Pome and Mirana, they are pretty like strong at early stage. So I think maybe Gaimin will want to push the game to early stage.
They could also just go for Naga still on PSG.
She's banned.
She's been banned out early. Like that's their tried and true hero. They'll default to it whenever they can.
So Gaimin Gladiators, they have to wait for this ban to come out from LGD. Lifestealer, the Derecho special has been removed. One of his other specialties, let's think. His Ursa's still in the game. PL could potentially be played here. What stands out to you, Lacoste, as a hero for Derecho to round his draft off with?
Yeah, these two that you mentioned could work out in terms of like damage that they have against. They still have one more pick, but there's the Slark ban that Effie mentioned. I feel like it also could be, you know, just a regular Medusa pick, even though she's been nerfed, so they can counter pick. But for PSG.LGD, in terms of team fight, you have Egg, you have Macropire, Ice Pat, a lot of magic damage. So something from Shiro that also deals well at the early stages against the Broodmother. I wouldn't mind seeing, you know, some either like a Terrorblade or some Sven, some like explosive damage that can go in and just delete the heroes immediately.
Well, you were correct, FaithBeyond. We see this Underlord at the very end of the draft in the 3 role for themselves, so it's going to be carry Broodmother. Do you like this particular option from Gaimin?
I think it's very obvious that Gaimin want to like speed up the game. They won't play this fast. They want like just pressure LGD. Don't let them have a chance to win a team fight.
Another thing this does, Effie, is that this sort of disallows the Shiro special of his Phantom Lancer now that there is an Underlord in the game. So where do you go from here if you're LGD?
I think they're in a little bit of a sticky situation just because this Brood Flex into carry with this Underlord for Ace is going to be so hard to play into, because look at the damage coming out of PSG early, right? They've got the Phoenix and the Jakiro and the Ember, all of which can be simply countered by a pipe, right? And the Ember cannot fight into the ball up that's going to happen with this Underlord. So PSG's best option, honestly, is to try to take it late game, not to try to fight into them. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing one of those heroes, specialty ultra late game heroes like the PL come out, because it's going to be way too hard playing into them in the early. But they go for the Ursa anyway. I mean, it can punish Underlord on lane, but I don't like it enough, if I'm being honest here.
Across that body, we saw a lot of teams did try playing Ursa into the pit lord, and it did not actually work out, even in the laning phase. What do you think? Give us your read on this situation.
I like what Gaming Gladiators did. They also have like extra gates coming out from Underlord, so they can be anywhere on the map. Ace, I think he's the best Underlord player because he joins early on, goes to the gates, pops the mech, pops the pipe, whatever it's needed for him, for his teammates to survive. And I feel like LGD try to like split the map a little bit, you know, bring an extra hero with this Spirit Breaker pick. It's not gonna work out. And also in terms of damage mitigation, like you have Broodmother, who's really tanky, universal hero, buys all these items, and also Shield Crash. You have Underlord as well. I feel like this is going to be a very difficult game for PSG.LGD.
TI winner, Faith Beyond. Boss, what do you think? LGD right now, is this the kind of draft you wanted to see from them? How do they make it work in the game number 1?
I think this is pretty dangerous game for LGD because their strong side is team fight and kind of late game, but gaming early game is too strong. And if they can't like pass this early stages smoothly, they will just like lost the game.
Yeah, I think the issue for me also is with the Ursa. If Ursa struggles on lane, which I honestly think he will, even though they did pick it into Underlord and it should be a good matchup, I think the supports on LGD are a bit too punishable. So if he struggles, typically you go into the jungle and you try to jungle fast, but you're going to have that late battle fury. You're not going to catch up as much as you can in the jungle, whereas the carry Brood's going to be raising and raising the net worth early enough for Gaimin to just play around the Underlord. So it's going to be hard, really hard for them to make it past like that minute 25 mark.
Another thing that we've seen a lot of teams struggle with at this tournament so far is that when one squad has better vision control, that team tends to have a much better matchup. The side of Gaimin, they have this Broodmother, they have Disruptor, they have Marauder. Lacoste, do you see any kind of vision options on the side of LGD to help ameliorate that a little bit?
Oof. Not an easy one, because both supports, they don't do it. Spirit Breaker is the one who provides them with a little bit of vision. In terms of heroes, I think NTS, he needs to pop off on this Ember Spirit, because Ursa, like, it's a good matchup against Underlord for the game, not so much in the lane, so he'll gonna need to recover, and it's just too speedy of the draft coming up from Gaming Gladiators in this first game.
This sucks. I'll be honest.
It's doable for sure.
It's doable, but it's so difficult. It's so hard. Why does everyone just struggle so much? Why do they have such cohesive drafts?
But anyway, I think they are trying new things. They try to like picking new heroes to deal with Broodmother. So anyway, I think it's respectable. So yeah, it's a good thing to play new things. Yeah.
Well, we are going to be witnessing whether or not they have what it takes on the side of PSG.LGD to make this a competitive matchup up against the final boss of Dota 2. And to find out, we send it over to our incredible casting duo. We have Sunsfan and Kezu making their Riyadh Masters debut. Take it away, boys.
Thank you. Goodness gracious. I think I'd like to be referred to for the rest of the event as Shawarma fan, because my goodness, they've been delicious here in Riyadh. Kezu joining me. We have quite the matchup for our first cast, my friend. Gaming Gladiators versus PSG.LGD. And we were not disappointed with the draft. I mean, LGD, they're not afraid to mix it up, and the panel not favoring them. Are you on the same boat?
I mean, sure, I favor Gaming Gladiators a little bit, but LGD have a very playable draft. I would say if Shiro can have a good lane with this Ursa, because he's going to have to play from ahead. With the Jakiro in the lane, help him out against the Underlord, maybe try to offset a little bit of this pressure. I do favor Gaimin, but come on, man. These are 2 of the 3 teams that I put in my top 3. Like LGD, they know what they're doing, man. Come on, guys, let's go.
Yep, I can't disagree with you there. I mean, they've had pretty good, especially Gaming Gladiators, pretty good year so far, some would say. Might be a historic year if they're able to continue to sweep all these Tier 1 events as the runes shall spawn. I mean, in terms of, let's talk about mid-game, late game, because that's where PSG.LGD wants to get to. I would assume that you think that they have the better team fight.
Yeah, like if they get to this 20, I think this 25 to 30 minute mark for LGD is very important. They need to get there without losing too much early on. Like Shiro, he's going to need a good timing on Battle Fury and then get like Blink BKB so that he can kind of frontline for his team. They can all go in together. Until then, it's all on Gaming Gladiators. If they can shut down the map, get ahead, take Roche with this Broodmother, Underlord, Pangolier, like their tempo of the game, and this is what the panel mentioned, it could just be too much for LGD to withstand.
And coming into this match, LGD sitting on a 2-0 record, obviously extremely early in this group stage, and Gaimin, they're split 1-1 at the moment. As Daracho, as we talked about, playing the position 1 Broodmother. Has this changed at all with the past 20 patches that have tried to nerf this hero?
No, Brood is still just so strong, especially like being universal and having a good item build. And the most important part that you can flex it in the draft, like suddenly you get a last pick Underlord, which looks great for your team. I mean, Ace was he was in the demo mode before the game. We saw him like practice some last hits on Underlord, so you know, he was ready. Hero feels good, you lane well, you scale well. I mean, what does this hero not do?
Well, it doesn't do well against Ursa and lane, depending on how good of a start Shiro can get. I mean, I assume that's one of the reasons that they picked this hero, is because it kind of can bully pretty much any melee hero. But I think the panel did mention this, that Gaming Gladiators, kind of their identity, it feels like, is getting farm and levels on Ace. Like, he'll find his farm, and then mid-game he'll just come out with like 2 huge items, and that's when they'll get super aggressive. Speaking of aggressive, Shiro going to turn his sights onto Tofu. Gets off the Starstorm, but that's going to be first blood for Shiro. Pretty easy.
I mean, that's exactly what they need to do. They just abuse the fact that they got level 2 on Shiro. I think it was only him. He gets the Earthshock off, Blood Grenade, they combo it up on Tofu, who's still level 1. Easy first blood. I mean, most of the time when pro teams like this get first bloods is they're abusing a timing. Someone is too low HP, you get level 2 right before them, you get this first blood. And this, I mean, LGD, I don't think they could ask for a better hero to get first blood on.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Easy glimpse.
And what do you think about the off-lane Spirit Breaker from New?
I think offline Spirit Breaker looks very good, especially for teams that are good at playing the map, which, let's be real, most of these teams are, but they pair it up with 2 very good supports to give it a team fight. You have Ember mid as well, who can later on join, so I don't know if you can like play it every game and pick it this early, but overall, offline Spirit Breaker has looked very good in the games that I've seen.
Yeah, but you see a nice charge here from New. I mean, LGD, of course, the original team to bring, I won't say the original, but in the last couple of years, they've been the main team that have been using Spirit Breaker as more of a core. That's when Zhao 8 was actually using it in the mid lane. I mean, that was after they changed the bash to do extra damage to creep, so it's kind of changed the trajectory of this hero in some respects. Celery's going to catch Planet. It's off the Blood Grenade, but Planet will be able to dive away. Meanwhile, the charge comes in. Celery is going to have to pop that Fairy Fire. And New is going to have to walk away now, though his courier will not be so lucky as Celery takes it out.
I do think that New should have a good time in this lane. Like Brood, Disruptor, you know, they tickle you a little bit, but he's already queuing up the Vanguard. I think he's completed his Ring of Health on the Spirit Breaker, so he's going to be chilling. I think he's going to have, he should be very happy with how this early game is going for him. I am looking at Ace though. He's 20-6 on the CS right now, and when Underlord has a good start, stopping this hero from continuing to have a good game is not easy at all.
Yeah. Kind of what we talked about. Right, Tofu had to tank it. For Ace, right? He had to be there.
He took the L for his bro.
And of course, on some level, Ace is like, thank God he died. I can get solo XP now. Like they're not gonna be able to do jack to me.
I mean, he has a great lane positioning now too. I love his items as well with the boots, wind blades, just adjusting to like this slow lane and playing into Ursa as Tofu. You know, he has just 1 death, but you know, who really cares? Your core is having a good time. You're level 3 now. He has a great skill build with 201. He can keep trading. His New down bottom should be okay. Sticks and Lotus.
Daracho not going to fully commit. You never know with him, of course.
That is very true. He might just end up at the tier 2.
Yeah, that's happened before, but that's kind of the beauty of Gaming Gladiators. Kind of this chaotic nature of, I mean, in some ways, like the offlaner sometimes needs to be the chaotic guy, but for them it's the position 1, and their offlane is a very stable, I'm farming, when I get my items, we're going to start going kind of team. It's kind of an interesting way that they've built their team.
Honest, I think it's a very needed balance for them to have a carry player who is quote-unquote crazy. As Planet gets them back, he's just.
So you think Eternal Envy would have been good on Gaming Gladiators?
Let's. That might be a step too far here, my friend. But you know, I mean, maybe it's his comeback.
Yep, true. New. He's gonna charge up. He's likely going to get brought down. A couple more right clicks will be enough, but Dyrachyo getting slowed by the Fire Spirits. Is it going to be enough as he continues to crawl his way over, but
Planet.
he'll have to set his sights on something else. And Celery, instead of getting the kill onto New, they will lose Celery.
One, bash.
Look for that bash, but ends up being a support for support, as both cores, again, secretly happy that this occurred so they can get solo farms.
I think also the Dyrachyo as well. He can drop his entire treads to Celery. Never mind, Celery's like, nope, screw you, idiot. I'm going mid. Quinn, my bro, I'm helping you out. Bottle refill, 530. Great timing. Good dodge from Nothing to Say.
Yeah, that bottle refill.
There's the other one.
Yes, yeah, you just got to follow suit. I mean, that's the only counter to this strat is to do it yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very powerful mechanic, of course, that started as a bug, but is now a feature.
I love features,
Yep.
don't we all?
Features are great. The more the merrier.
Okay, 6-minute rune.
Yep.
Quinn not level
Swash.
6 yet.
That's a lot of damage on Nothing to Say. He's going to get off the Searing Chains, has the Remnant, trying to go for the rune, pop the Fairy Fire.
Tofu
Rune ends up being bottom. Tofu takes it, Nothing to
hello.
Say. He Remnants back to place. I don't know if that was his original plan. He's getting chased now by Tofu. Picks up the haste rune from earlier, and that is going to lead to an easy kill as Celery comes to finish the job. My goodness.
Tofu God. He's just like mid-air leaping in, taking that haste rune. Yeah, Nothing to Say, maybe a little bit of a misclick. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Oh, easy deward from Celery as well. So they're controlling the mid lane, placing a new ward themselves, dewarding LGD's ward down mid. So definitely something important you have to do in this game.
Dyrachyo sitting on pretty decent farm, as we can see in the net worth discrepancies from both teams. 3 of the top 4 are on the side of Gaimin Gladiators, but this is kind of their MO. It feels like their laning stages are just insanely good as Celery gonna get up the glimpse onto New into the kinetic field and charge up. Trying to buy some space, but Blood Grenade will proc on him now. Attempting to TP out, he's actually gonna be fine. That is a very juicy cow. If I do say so myself.
He got the Vanguard just in time. He's going to be chilling, TP out. Luckily for him, he can try to charge back out on the lane. But this kill down mid was very important. This Ember Pango matchup is incredibly volatile. Like one little, win that you get in the lane will really enable that hero to push forward. And now Gaimin at 7 minutes with a 2k gold lead. And I have to stress it again, Ace's net worth it's disgusting.
I feel like I've seen this before.
Oh, really?
I feel like I've seen this quite a few times where they just get off to a great start, and Shiro gets glimpsed up into the kinetic field. Ace finally comes in, Firestorm, and Shiro is not getting out of this one. So Gaimin continuing to snowball this lead a bit, and that's something that are better than any other. I mean, they've won, what, 5,
the
6
last 5
so
grand finals.
They're going to be good at everything, but one thing in particular, the laning stage and then snowballing that lead, or maintaining it at the very least, better than any other team in the world, for sure.
Pro teams are just getting so good at abusing every single timing in the game. Dyrachyo, he's fine in his lane. Celery can quickly just take the gate, go top, and pressure Shiro early on.
Oh, no! Okay, that just happened.
They just ruined his game in 1 minute.
Yes. Literally, 60 seconds, death into Glimpse, have to walk back. Yeah.
And by the time he runs back top, they will still be 3 people up here. Tofu going in on Why You Smile, just a little bit of pressure. Well, when you have the next Glimpse, a little bit of pressure.
Celery is all over the place. Ice Path connects only onto one, and Why You Smile eventually will be brought down. And Celery, he's picking up a lot of these kills, actually. Maybe unintentional. He's one of the few supports that will not KS. I've noticed that.
That is very true.
He's a respectable young man.
He's the most respectable +5 you have. He's going to play 12 games of Undying and never take a kill. The poor guy.
Dyrachyo continuing to farm away in this bot lane. And so from LGD's perspective, since we've been talking a lot about Gaimin Gladiators, what can they do here? Because Shiro, we just talked about his game. I wouldn't say it's ruined, but that was a big hit that he just took. At what point can you even fight on this here? I mean, it looks like, what is he going for, Battle Fury?
Yeah, honestly, this guy ain't going to be fighting for a while. If at all, he will only join like very late into a fight when the egg is like already dropped. Right now, if you're LGD, sure, you're down like 3k, 4k gold, close to minute 10. You have to wait for your ults. Well, you have it on Phoenix already, so Planet is doing a good job. They're giving him mid. You're gonna need levels on him and Jakiro and try to break the game at some point where you get a good kill. This could be a good start.
Another glimpse coming out. Celery, he's taking quite a bit of damage. The egg is placed. I think he's just gonna be able to walk away though, as Quinn in that rolling thunder form gets stuck in that little crevice that shouldn't exist, but still does. Exactly. I was gonna say this thing. We're on the same page for sure.
Oh,
rolling thunder continues to connect. And
here comes Ace.
Say, still very low. Going to the other side as the iPads connect onto several. Here's the glimpse onto nothing to say, and the swashbuckle finishes him off. And again, Gaimin Gladiators not losing anybody. The Fiend's Gate coming out from Ace earlier to help provide extra cover for his team. And you will not even be able to find any sort of consolation kill. Double kill for Quinn, and Gaimin's lead now 5k. And with that rotation, Dyrachyo, it's a Broodmother. He's going to do Broodmother things.
Yep, he's going to free farm the entire map bottom, now pressure the bot tier 1. I mean, if you're LGD, I understand you want to make a move with these ults, but doing it in mid is always the place where the enemy team can connect the fastest, right? It's the center of the map, it's next to a tier 1 tower. Gaimin, they just reinforce perfectly, so LGD are going to have to think properly about where and how they want to do their next move with maybe a smoke, wait for the next egg, because right now Gaimin Gladiators, they're just on top of their game. They haven't made a single mistake in this game.
Well, they did die twice. So.
Who cares? Space.
I mean, I feel like Celery has been the mega MVP so far for Gaimin. These glimpses, I mean, it is a single target spell, but the fact that he's in position to get
right place, right time, every single time, what it kind of feels like. Also, I love when support players stack up the blood grenades. He has 3 of them. He understands the value of the newest, most broken Dota item you probably have, at least in the early game.
You got to get the all the items that have the timers on them.
True.
Right, the wards, the smokes.
10 sentries right now.
That's right.
The Fusel Blade, yeah. These networks are... Ooh. I mean, no one wants to stay mid now, as they might even smoke up. Looks like Gaimin are looking.
Faking out his ult will finally commit it with the rest of LGD coming in tow, but you can see Quinn coming out to help his Broodmother out. Dyrachyo does fall though, so successful gank from LGD. As the egg comes out, will actually proc successfully. Now a couple Fire Spirits onto 2 members of Gaimin Gladiators. Tofu getting extremely low. Looks like he's gonna be able to survive though. I mean, all of that, they do get the Broodmother, and that is the most important thing for LGD. They get something to go their way.
No, that's a great kill. Not only do they kill Dyrachyo on bottom, they make space for Shiro up top. He gets to continue to play in the top lane and farms. Planet, little glimpse back.
The cast range on this one is actually just absurd. Planet, glimpse back, and now the pit into death.
Well, at least, you know, Planet's still having a pretty decent game himself. He's trying to work on his vessel. Sure, he did just die, and the game is maybe slowing down a little bit. So we have a little replay of this bottom fight. But yeah, I mean, we just have this kill is super, super important for them. Even Tofu comes in, goes for some double leap shenanigan and like tries to kill the egg, but this early on with a beautiful bash from Yu.
Swashbuckle misses there, a little bit of misstep from Quinn. So just as you said, they hadn't made any mistakes, a few in a row, just to make sure that they are in fact human.
Are they?
Well, they could be robots, I guess. I don't know.
I didn't see Celery at the start walking into the stage.
That's
it could be a robot that
he
walked in
later. He was charging up in the station.
He was charging up the Tesla station.
I mean, the fact that Dyrachyo almost didn't die, though, that was actually super
Let's not talk
close.
about that. We only look at the good things that happen.
That would have been a complete disaster for LGD, but they do get it in the end, so showing some signs of life. But now that Gaimin continuing on here, we'll be able to get this tier 1 tower as the Mech Vanguard online for Ace.
Yeah, he ain't dying.
And I assume Pipe will be next. That's why you Smile's gonna be found out by Quinn. And a kinetic field forcing him to face Quinn in all his glory. He's been working out, by the way. Saw him on camera earlier.
Yeah, he looks buff.
Good. He's got some meat on those bones these days.
And it's good for him. Good for him. As Quinn, you know, not only with the sexy gameplay, but also the sexy looks. Goes hand in hand. And their network still, even with this small little bottom play that LGD were able to do, they're up, Gaimin off 6k gold, 5k gold at 40 minutes into the game. And as you were, I think Ace is going to go for a pipe next. And then how do you really fight into this? He will disassemble it. He'll have it even earlier. So the name of the game for LGD is just help Shiro to get this farm on the map and continue to make some small skirmishes on the map, which they're trying to do now as they smoke up 3 of their heroes.
Yeah, Shiro just purchased the recipe for Battle Fury, so his farm can now start, kind of, at 14.5 minutes. I mean, it's not even the worst timing anyway.
Honestly, it's pretty good for what happened, right?
Yeah.
lane didn't go so well. He died, got glimpsed back. So, of course, the best players will always find a way. It's Dyrachyo once again.
Another strike is going to be there to initiate. And the rest of LGD coming in tow as well. Stuck inside that macro pyre. Here comes AC, gets off the mech, coming through that Fiendscape, but Dyrachyo will eventually drop. Ends up being a trade for the support in the start of this fight. There's a Rolling Thunder from Quinn jumping right over New, but the last connection cancels the TP, so Spear Breaker dead. Arrow's gonna miss from Tofu, but like you said, the Static Storm, big counter to the Ember Spirit, and nothing to say will die. So it's a 3-for-1. Again, they do get the Broodmother, but I mean, we've talked about at the beginning, it feels like the Underlord is the main hero that they have to worry about.
It just takes him so long to kill this hero. Actually, also the Spark of Courage on Dyrachyo, like giving him all this bonus armor, the mech from Ace coming in clutch, and everyone, once again, just it's so easy for them to play this map right now. You might think, oh, Dyrachyo, what a noob, he's sitting here, but honestly, with him being here, he's helping his team to continuously have plays all over the map. Everyone can farm wherever they want. As soon as there's a fight, they just TP in, and they get a turnaround. It's
I have to
disgusting.
Say, Kazu, I'm very impressed that you knew Spark of Courage by heart, the name.
You're welcome.
I didn't say thank you, but thank you.
You are?
You knew I was going to say thank you.
Yes, as you should. Look, there it is.
That's very good.
Can you read it?
Nobody knows the name of these items. My usual co-caster doesn't, at least.
I mean, he's busy playing WoW, so I don't blame him.
He uses that as trivia, and he has to look it up. See, when you have to look something up to make trivia, you don't know. Like, it doesn't work that way.
Sunsfan, what is the active of Occult Bracelets?
Mana Giver.
Yeah, good try.
Close.
It's the Rites of Eloshar.
Oh, okay. That's definitely not made by the same person that named Grab Ally.
That is very true.
Doesn't exist anymore, sadly. 11-4 lead for Gaimin Gladiators, 6K net worth. As BKB coming soon for Dyrachyo. Of course, that will help him survive, as LGD has kind of focused on killing him in the early stages of this game.
Down mid, pit.
Yep, they got the pit, they got the arrow, they got the kill onto Nothing to Say, and the tier 1 tower as well. Gaimin getting just about everything that they want.
Okay, I would say Gaimin are just doing nearly everything correct on this map right now. If you're LGD, you're still in a place where you can definitely prolong this game a little bit, get some more levels on your supports. If at some point they can try to sneak Roche, I don't know how, maybe smoke your Phoenix Ursa into the Roche pit and try to steal it so that Gaming doesn't get it, I think that would be an absolute sick play that you could try to play for. If you think that, okay, that's too risky, they're going to wait for Shiro's BKB and then fight. Until then, I do not see them being able to take a clear and straight up 5-on-5 fight.
Were they doing this at Bali, the Pango Manta build?
Yeah.
This is disgusting. This shouldn't be a thing. Come on.
It's just too good. You got to do it. Also, look at this game. How
it's good Dispel for like the Ensnare, or the Searing Chains and whatnot.
Yeah, the chains into like Ice Path, it's like the main way you die. Maybe still with the Spirit Breaker charge and over, like just having this elusiveness on these heroes that are super annoying and elusive, like Pango in itself already. And it gives you so much damage too. Yeah, it's just incredible. Up top, nothing to say. Has to be careful.
Yeah, the Remnant is there. He's going to get used, and the pit going to set up the arrow again. Although,
it's just
hit
perfect.
it anyway.
It's
Quinn almost screwed that up with the roll. Bounced him around, but they get the kill anyway.
And this was all AI.
Oh, nice.
Hello.
Ice Path onto 2 with the charge come out with the Macro Pyre on top. Another strike, keeping Quinn in place, but he's able to swashbuckle to the other side. So after all that, LGD only able to secure the 1 support. And that just kind of shows the state of the game, where a lot of these supports for LGD, I mean, they got a lot of magic damage, and the early game is supposed to be their forte, but they're just too far behind at this point.
It's the pipe and mech from Ace. It's just doing so much like in these fights right now, even with the double Ice Path into charge, into all the follow-up damage. This is why Shiro needs... He needs more gold. He needs the BKB in order to be able to fight. Planet did just finish his Spirit Vessel, so that will also help to kind of cut through this potential pipe, but he has no stacks yet, so might have to go on a little... Maybe you just run in and feed, I don't know, get that charge going.
Sure, yeah.
You know, it's not a bad play, bro. Not a bad play, brother.
Use this in your pubs at home, of course.
Yeah, I'm very good.
You will not get reported.
Definitely not. Not
Shiro,
by you.
about 700 away from finishing his BKB, and I would assume that LGD are going to they're going to have to force some sort of a fight with this timing.
They'll have to do their best to put like the map in a state where they feel like they can force a favorable fight, which being down 8k gold is not an easy task to do.
I was hoping we were going to actually finish that statement. You would end with, they need to try their best. And that's it. That's all.
Okay. I'll do. They need to try their best.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
Oh, up top. Nope, just a little poke. And
Why you smile?
There's
He's gonna get
Samantha.
caught out. Quinn, another easy kill for him. Looks like the Aghanim Scepter is going to be next for the Pangolier. And Ace talked about, we actually did finish the Greaves as well.
Yeah, slap him,
Very
Shiro.
tanky. Doraccio.
Oh, they see him with the
charged
charge.
up, and Shiro
He
trying to
baited
get
him.
the kill here. But Ace coming in with the Fiend's Gate, and they're going to be able to get the bear instead. New. Well, he was on the outside of that Static Storm, but he's going to get slowed to a crawl and eventually glimpse back. All he can do is Nether Strike Quinn in frustration. As Gaimin Gladiators continue to just win fight after fight after fight. This is a complete stomp. 11K lead at 20 minutes.
Okay, I haven't casted Gaimin in a while. I'm sure viewers are starting to get bored of people saying Gaimin are the best team at this, Gaimin are the best team at that. But I love how far they always play in your face. Once again, Doraccio is like at the enemy Ancients. He drops to 10%, 20% HP, but he knows that his team can back him up. Now they're showing bottom hitting, but they're already mid as well. So you're not safe bottom, you're not safe mid. See you later, nerd. That.
Yep, that is a nice setup from Tofu. I mean, we've got very good use out of that Yules as they're going to take the enemy Tormentor as well, so Tofu will get an extra leap and be able to have that blue fire belch that comes out of the mount.
Blue fire belch. One
That's
of the
a nice
best
shot
shards
from
in
you.
the game. Oh, never mind. See,
Yeah.
now they don't dare anymore.
How
They're
would you
like, he was
rate?
baiting.
How would you rate that shard, Marana?
Bottom 3 shards of the game.
Okay, bottom. You get an extra leap. That's. I mean, it's not
What? Okay, name,
okay.
hold, Doraccio baiting, of course.
Yeah,
See, baiting.
he will likely survive.
He's just space, once again space.
He just wanted us to finish this conversation.
So 2 worse shards than Marana, or 3.
Well, I have to look
one
at
in
the
mind.
list.
I have one in mind, Skywrath.
No. Skywrath is good now because you get magic resist from it.
Okay, then
It's actually good.
I'm trying to
It's
help you.
actually
You
good.
can name 2 shards.
Well, as a a shard, and I've been trying to be more positive lately. Yes, it's a terrible shard. All right, is that what you want me to say?
Okay, dude, nice
Good lord.
defense. Political answer.
Well, it is 21 minutes.
Disruptor shard is also hot trash.
It's pretty bad. Yeah. I mean, you get an extra couple procs, right? But the using it on the ground aspect, I've never actually seen.
Yeah, honestly, who cares? It's just really bad. As Gaimin.
Okay, how about this?
Okay.
Broodmother support shard. Useless.
It's a good shard. The way that
on
you're
support.
Okay.
Support.
Great. Well done,
There you
chat.
go. I thought
did it.
I'm actually really proud of
Yeah,
myself.
you're really good at this game.
Thank you. All right, so first rush of the game to Gaimin. No big surprise, of course, as they're in full control of this game.
Planet mid, row, being set up on.
Yep, Static Storm's gonna catch him, and just a bunch more spells.
Yeah, when you're behind against some of these heroes, it's just really hard to play the map. Not just because Gaimin are very good, but the nature of how the heroes like to play. Disruptor, you run after someone, easy glimpse. You find someone, you have Moonlight Shadow, you have vision from the spiders. They mentioned it before, you even have the gate. New mid, I think, barely dodged the dust. Nope, he didn't. Easy glimpse.
Yeah, but the arrow does miss, so New gonna get Yulesed up. I mean, not only a great setup for all these arrows, as we're gonna see the Rolling Thunder. Oh, okay.
What happened there? Quinn?
They're going to get the kill anyway. It doesn't really matter what happens, what interactions they run into. They just are way too farmed. Tier 2 tower is going to go on the game as well.
Just some features coming out as Doraccio hitting down bottom. He's got a butterfly completed. Still has a tier 1 item. Very interesting here, Shannon.
Spark of Courage.
Spark of Courage indeed. What does it do right now?
Right now it gives damage.
Yes, good job.
It will give armor, I think, right?
Yes.
Below 50% HP.
I'm glad you can read.
I did not read that. That was off of memory.
I did not read that.
I don't know how to read. I've been hiding it all along.
Okay, Shiro has Blink in 150. This is what they're waiting for. They hope Gaimin are going to overplay, which they might. I mean, they're going to hit your racks because they're down. They're up 16,000 gold. They're going to have to find a very clutch fight. I think, realistically, LGD they have one last play in them.
Yeah. Well, the charge is coming out of the range racks. It's going to go down. A nice charge onto 2. Quinn, of course, has the Aegis, but they're going to focus on Ace, and they're actually going to burn right through him. And that is a big kill for LGD. They defend, they get the tankiest, and arguably the most important target for Gaimin. So their melee racks will continue to survive for the time being.
A very big defense for LGD here. They reveal the Blink, they finish Ace. Honestly, Ace might just be the biggest kill in the game. If they can try to kill him first and take out all these auras and overall his own aura too in the fight, it's just so big for them. If they can focus fire him with the Sunray Vessel and Shiro just slapping on his ass, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they do have, like we talked about it pregame, they do have technically the tools, right? Because of the percentage-based damage from the Sunray. And then Ursa is literally made to kill tanks. That's his entire job.
They've got the Orb of Destruction as well on Shiro to even enhance the damage a little more when they do all in these type of plays. But I mean, Gaimin still have Aegis. They're up by a lot. Butterfly's completed on Darachi as well. So LGD are continuously playing from the back foot. Quinn is just kind of toying with them.
Well, because he has a shield road, so he's
and an
invulnerable.
Aegis.
And that too. He has like 5 lives right now.
Yeah, he has like 6,000 HP right now.
So that means LGD just going to have to give up that melee rack. So that's 1 set for Gaimin at the 25-minute mark. But like you said, Aegis still there, so I don't see how this is going to stop.
Yeah, they're not going to stop. I mean, LGD do have all their spells ready, so maybe they can look at a play at how they want to go, but Gaimin...
jumping in. They're focusing on Quinn. They have to do some back and forth action here from LGD. They can't fully commit quite yet. Egg's still online. Already half HP for the bear.
They force his enrage.
To walk away. Yeah, that's true. That's a big cooldown. Not available now. Big spell not available for Shiro. That's going to be the tier 3 now.
Darachio's too tanky. This Butterfly, the Spark of Courage, the Solar Crest behind him, he's just whacking away. Quinn as well. He's got the power of the Aegis.
Gonna jump in. Manta is there. Shiro has to pop his BKB, but mostly in a defensive measure. And Darachio and company just continuing to take out the barracks. So 2 sets for Gaimin.
I mean, they're just making it really hard for you to do anything. They're putting the heroes to, you know, push the racks and hit them the ones they can. Ace farms the map, comes in with the gate, and for LGD it just seems kind of impossible to find a way to take a fight. Sure, earlier you kind of surprised them with a nice smoke, blink reveal, but you know, you get to do it once. They're not letting you do it a second time. Casual 10k building damage.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, it is a brood after all, but it's a position 1 brood. I don't know why
that is a position 1 brood. That's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that one. We'll just ignore.
Welcome everybody.
Stroke. First stroke. We can keep track of them. A little counter action.
That is a mid Pango, by the way.
That is a position 2 Pangolier.
Oh, where are they going? They're TPing bottom. They're looking at this little ward that they have in their jungle.
Oh. They scan.
And a scan.
Yeah, Mew. He's going to get spotted. Moonlight Shadow giving some cover so Celery can help get this initiation going. Static Storm Kinetic Field. And attempted TP, but a bit ambitious for Mew.
Oh,
then again, you kind of have to be ambitious in this game.
They're playing for the Jakiro Aghanim Scepter.
Sure.
Did you say shawarma?
Sure. Yeah, shawarma. Absolutely.
Shawarma. Yeah.
I mean, that is a good high ground defending Aghanims, for sure.
It is pure damage, is that correct?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it lasts forever.
So you don't care about all the auras. As I mean, it is just very simple for Gaimin to play this map. We also need to highlight the wards that they have, one in the Dire jungle and one in their own, because LGD, they need to split the map. Try to find all the farm that they can. So if you see them, you can easily TP there. You have good access and just make it, you know, very simple to go over, glimpse some noob back, get the free kill. As Shiro, yeah, I agree with him buying out on gold. Like, there's no need to save your gold on Ursa here. You need to go in. Because you need to go in first for your team. You need to have a clutch initiation, kill a guy, and either reset or keep going. So spend all your gold, having buyback on you. Honestly, it's not going to do anything.
All right, Darachi finally changes his neutral item, by the way. That was really triggering me. He's saying Spark of Courage every 10 seconds. Yep, he smiles, spotted out, and he's dead. Just like that, but has to buy back. Means he's not going to have that gold for that
shawarma.
Eventual Aghanim Scepter. He's going to be really hungry right now. Sleight of Fist. With the Battle Fury help from Shiro, able to take out the spiders at the very least, but that's, again, the least of their worries.
I mean,
if they want to take this a bit conservatively, they could wait for Roche, but it's a minute and a half from even knowing when that is going to spawn.
Yeah, it looks like I would assume that they're just going to keep poking on the map. If anyone comes out, you just kind of freely do it. If they defend mid-bottom, maybe you can poke top a little bit, deal some damage to the tower, because you're up 20,000 gold. You have like kind of all the items you want. You're just gonna play the map nicely. If you know you see an opportunity to hit the tower, you will. Otherwise, play it chill. Get the second Aegis with the cheese. And yeah, it's just really hard. And also, Nullifier is completed on Darachio. If he can get that on Shiro, not gonna have the overpower charges. You get it on you. You dispel the bulldoze. It's just LGD are in for Tofu.
Charge up, Tofu.
Oh, the belching.
Yep. It's enough. The belch is enough for him to get away.
Oh,
the
Glimpse.
Glimpse cancels the TP. Swashbuckle Nullifier now on top of the Spirit Breaker. New will fall. He does have his buyback though. His Why You Smile
Deals
dead again.
so much damage.
Good thing he has the Philly Stone. He's going to get some good action now that he's dead. BKB not available to pop there. Shiro's actually just going to walk away. And now Gaimin at the base again. Now that Jakiro is dead for a full minute, by the way. That Macropyre would be pretty handy right now.
And they need him to defend. Like now, sure, you're poking, but all the auras we mentioned earlier from AIDS, they're just helping so much.
Swashbuckle
Nothing to
brings
say, he's
so
arrowed.
much mana onto nothing to say. He's arrowed, I think.
Yeah, he's gonna have
He's
to
just
buyback as
dead.
well.
Does have buyback available, like you said, as Gaimin now get the range racks. The charge coming in there, that's going to be coupled with that buyback. We can actually put the Broomer onto the low ground. The egg from very far away. The BKB from Shiro is not going to do much at all because it's a full and successful disengage from Gaimin Gladiators.
I mean, they have to try it, but Brew just you can walk over cliffs, you get pushed back by the... Yeah, they just call it. They know they can't. They just used everything and they can't do it. Gaimin Gladiator, dude, this team is just so good.
You know, they're so good, they made Mirana Shard look good.
Yeah, he belched all the way away from them, got the Yules off, and...
It's very powerful.
Just another day in the park for good old Gaimin Gladiators, playing the type of lineup they want, playing nice here on the map, having some of the, probably the best laners in the world right now, and honestly just making it look easy. They just made LGD, they didn't make them look terrible, but they made it so damn hard for them to even try and come back in this game.
Yeah, do you think this comes down to draft? Because we've seen these teams play a lot against each other over the course of the past few months. This one was very stompy, and I mean the panel kind of broke it down, and you did as well at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
The lineup very particular from LGD, and they've been known to do that, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But against Gaimin, like, you got to come with a better plan, I feel like.
I really think when you play against this team, you need to have solid lanes and heroes that can fight back at minute 10 to 15. It is just so important that you do not give this team a big lead in the game, because you will not come back. It's impossible.
Yeah. So with that, sorry, production, what did you say?
You can throw it.
I can throw it to the panel. Woo! Break it down. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Suns fan and Kezu. An incredible game of Dota, but unfortunately more of the same with Gaimin Gladiators, just making everything happen. And Faith Beyond, we heard it at the end there. Kezu mentioned, if you're playing this team, you have to play very strong lanes. You said it yourself, you have to be able to put them under pressure. Sadly, with this LGD draft, that wasn't able to happen. What do you think went wrong that didn't allow them to play as fast as they needed to?
I think this game obviously lost because of draft, and I think the problem of draft is first two pick. This two hero is kind of too weak at the early stage, but I don't want blame on this because they are trying new things, and I think this is a way to bring your team and the tournament to a next level, because if everybody is playing same heroes, then there is no progress to the tournament.
Yeah, and I think if there is a time to experiment, it would be in the group stages at this early stage, especially versus the strongest team where you might lose anyway. You might as well bust out a new strat. My qualms with it personally were just the Jakiro Phoenix. I felt like they were too much of the same thing, and neither of them really secured the lane the way they needed to. But that's honestly by virtue of how well Gaimin Gladiators played. The player in particular that I think made such a huge difference in the early game is Celery's rotation to the top lane. They ended up killing Ursa from a beautiful play. Ace got him in the trees with his Firestorm, but Celery camped out in the trees. So when Ursa TP'd back, he got glimpsed back all the way to base. So not only was Brood holding his own in the bottom lane to the point where Celery was able to rotate, they took out the Ursa threat really early on.
Yeah.
I want to go to Broodmother point that Effie was making. It's they entered the triangle, enemy triangle, before even taking the tier 1 tower with the webs, so he was farming like this whole area of the map, and Ursa, of course, not as fast farmer as Broodmother, so you gotta, match the pace that Gaimin Gladiators are playing. You can't allow to, play for Aghanim Scepter as the casters were talking about on your Jakiro, on your position 5. It's just not gonna work out.
I mean, speaking of the pressure that Gaimin Gladiators can put out, let's take a quick look at the STC play of this game, because I think it's very instrumental towards the win of Gaimin Gladiators. Here we see classic rotation. Gaimin Gladiators always dangle Diracho out. You think he's all by his lonesome here, but as they're killing him, it's taking a little bit longer than expected. And Faith Beyond, this gives the opportunity for reinforcements to come in from all across the map. And immediately this turns into a disaster all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that we often see in these situations is how do you recover from this? If you're the team right now, you've been on LGD, what would the team communication be like to try and say what comes next?
I mean, you're like, darn, doesn't work out, right? It's like when it's like really early on. The Underlord gates in, he presses Mac, you're like, didn't know that guy was coming. Suddenly your Ember is behind a tier 1 getting static stormed while the Pangolier is chasing your Spirit Breaker, and it feels like everything kind of fell apart, because if that hadn't happened, it would have been a really sick play on paper, right? They would have taken out the carry brood and disengaged, but that just speaks to how well Gaimin as a team can play around the Underlord, right? They're probably the best Underlord team in this entire tournament. They are the best Underlord team, I'd say.
Absolutely, and one of the things we saw yet again from Bali Lacoste is that this Underlord hero in the laning phase is, even if you have these supposed lane counter like Ursa, it actually doesn't play out that way in the actual game.
Yeah, I don't think Ursa does well when it comes down to just like straight up killing Underlord, because Underlord, like at one point he had 2010 CS, which is pretty impressive. Like they even got the kill, they even got the first blood on Ursa. He was the one who got it, and yeah, just didn't work out. Sometimes it feels like some of these heroes are too difficult to deal with. I think PSG.LGD tried to experiment a little bit to see what's actually going to happen. Let's go with this Ursa, also with a bit of a different support duo, not what we usually see in meta. Didn't work out, scratch it, go for the next one. Saving strats, that's the term that we use that we like to use.
Talk to me about how New's performance was in this game, Faith Beyond, because it's not a hero that he plays all the time. They picked it for him very early on in the game. We know that it didn't work out for the game overall, but how did he play the hero for New on the Spirit Breaker?
I think he's doing pretty well because on the lane he got the Vanguard pretty quick, and I think it's just this hero like limited him. He can't do too much with this hero. Yeah.
I agree completely. The laning stage was really good. It felt like the Broodmother was being threatened early on up until that point where she gets level 6 and becomes independent. But all of a sudden you're playing into a 5-man death ball type of Underlord Brood Pango strategy, and you're a Spirit Breaker. Like your hero, yeah, he lanes, but then what? He wants to get kills, right? He wants to fight. But how do you fight into an Underlord in a 5-man lineup? You really can't. So they were shot in the foot by that opening Spirit Breaker plus Phoenix in the end.
Well, they did try something new on the side of PSG.LGD. Didn't necessarily work out for them. Not much seems to work against G.Gladiators, unfortunately. But this is not the only game happening right now. We still have quite a lot of other Dota happening all across our other streams. To find out a little bit more, we have our man on the ground, Jenkins, to give us the updates on what's happening here at the Gamers 8 tournament.
Hello. Welcome back to the Player Lounge. I'm going to give you an update on what's going on in the A, B, C, D streams. Well, you've seen the A stream because this is that. Over there, we have Quest Esports versus 9 Pandas. This is a 70+ minute game, and this is on the C stream. Honestly, if you're watching this and this is still going on, turn on the C stream. This game is insane. There's Stygian Desolator on Tiny, throne races. It's the most insane thing that you will ever see. I'm not even going to cover the other streams. Actually, I will. But you should look at this one. This one is nuts. And over here, oh, that's still the C stream. This is the A stream. On the flip side, way over here, there is, of course, Team Spirit versus EG. Team Spirit's chilling out. I'm going to be a little quiet here because they gotta watch the game and do some analysis. But EG game 1, Pakaz played Carry Legion Commander. This team is insane. They had a Whisper Batrider. In this game, they had this Collapsed Timbersaw, stole that from Whisper. There's some really cool drafting stuff going on there. Over on that side, we have the OG squad heading out because their series just ended. It was a 1-1 against Extreme Gaming, game 1. They got Meatboat. Game 2, BZM went beyond godlike on Wind Ranger. And then he fed a couple of times. But it doesn't matter because Yuragi was also huge on the Slark. So that's an update for all of the streams. Back to you, Snare, my friend.
Thank you, homie Young Jenkins. Indeed, we have seen a lot of craziness happening in the other streams, a bit more unpredictable than what we've been having here on the A stream, because G.Gladiators yet again doing their thing. I am looking forward to seeing how they go into game 2, because Faith Beyond, when you were on the squad, the one thing you always, I'm sure you knew about Jawait, is that the drafts always change game on game. So if you were in the team right now, what do you think he's talking about to everybody to say, what should we be doing going into game 2?
I'm not sure what he will talk, but right, I mean in this team right now. But I think he will like change some strategy because obviously Spirit Breaker and Phoenix is not working, and we can change something to pick. And from my perspective, my opinion is, I think they can pick some just fighting heroes, early stage heroes. Just go for it. Let it go. And I think this is the first day and the first time they on the stage, so they can just play for chill and enjoy the stage. And yeah, so don't care too much about like late game or carry or something. Yeah.
If you made a point about how going up against the best team in the world, it is sometimes useful to try new things against them, but it's also useful to give them their best strats. They played this at the Bali Major, Broodmother, Pango opening. They didn't lose a single time doing this. So going into game 2, would you feel the degree of bravery of giving it to them again, this kind of opener that they've been so successful with?
I think they honestly could try to solve the Brood again, but giving away Brood plus Pango sounds a little bit scary. Like, if the Brood comes out in the first phase, if Gaimin have first pick again, I think it could be a switch up if they go SB plus Pango, for example. I wouldn't mind that. I mean, you could technically get Bloodseekered on overall 8th pick, but that would still be a better take if they're pretty stubborn about solving the Brood today.
Well, we've seen a lot of times over the course of the Dota history that solving these unbeatable strategies is a requirement if you're going to be a championship level team. We'll see what Jawed and the boys cook up going into game number 2. Before that, a very small break. We'll return with some more Dota 2 action.
What player do I admire before I became Dota player myself? Okay, I mean, that answer is easy. I think I've done it every time. It's just Dendi from Navi. Like, he always used to be, like, my idol. Like, I've always looked up to him. He's been a mid player, of course. I had, like, one of the most outstanding personalities ever. So, I think super good player, super nice personality, participates in everything and all the fun stuff and everything. There was, like, this Oppa Gangnam style TI2, if you remember, or TI3 against Puppy, you know, like, easily. Daniel, what is it? Daniel Ishutin, I think? Yeah, that easily. Playing against Dendi for the first time was really special. It was actually on one of my first LANs. It was WESG, so this national tournament where you had to play 4 people from your nationality. And we played as Team Germany in the first round against Team Ukraine. That was like super, super fun. And I remember I wanted to just play Invoker against him. He played Juggernaut mid, like freaking random, and they just pushed high ground minute 12 and that's just ended it. But it was really, really fun. And then those guys came over for a handshake and I was like, holy shit, what just happened, you know? Like, we got smashed. They just went high ground, but it was super, super fun.
When I start playing Dota, I think the EG Sumail, when they win the TI5. I like watching him when he plays Storm. His Storm is so OP that time in the international.
When I was starting my career, I was watching like every Miracle game, my favorite player, so it's only Miracle. I started like in 2014, I guess. Then I saw how Sumail won tournament, international, and I got excited. Yeah. And I wanted to play it too, professionally. Yeah, I guess it's Miracle, Shadow Fiend, Invoker, Storm. And Miracle was playing a lot of carries. It was really good. He playing 2 roles, like super good. Yeah, we're playing against Miracle in last major, but long time ago. It was my first major, Epicenter, something like this, and we played against them. But it was our first game in playoffs, and everyone was a bit scared, and so it was a bit hard to play against Aster, first game.
Welcome back, one and all, for some more Dota 2 action here at the Riyadh Masters. We are deep into a group stage matchup between Gaimin Gladiators and PSG.LGD. Kind of a normal affair coming in from Gaimin Gladiators. However, it is LGD, a squad that is highly adaptable, a squad that never knows the meaning of giving up. So going into Game 2, we can expect some very interesting ideas to come in to try and defeat the final bosses of Dota. I'm here yet again with Effie, Faith Beyond, and Lacoste. Lacoste, one of the things that we spoke about heading into Game 1 is PSG.LGD can specialize in some of these late game style of heroes. Very clearly, Gaimin will never let you get there, right?
Yeah, that's the question. How do you get to that point? I mean, I think we said it a few times already, but you gotta have strong lanes. Like, you gotta match the aggression, especially early on. There are a few things for certain in life that Taxes and that two supports from Gaimin Gladiators are gonna meet at the middle lane 6 minutes into the game. So both supports from PSG.LGD, they need to be there. Like, your mid laner, he needs to be alive. Both supports need to be there to match this aggression.
Love that point because in the last game, obviously they ran the Jakiro and Phoenix, who Phoenix is not that strong of a laner. Once he hits level 3 and he gets level 2 in Fire Spirits, he becomes strong, but he kind of sucks for a couple of levels, which may make the lane very difficult for his offlaner, but Jakiro, even if he is a solid laner, he's quite slow, right? So you have a Phoenix who is a stationary hero generally, and you have a Jakiro who's pretty slow. How are they going to meet at the runes? How are they going to match the pace of a Mirana rotating to secure runes? They're going to have to adapt to maybe something like, you know, a Snapfire or a Skywrath Mage or anything that can help with the mid lane rotations.
Okay, and we're very excited to see Skywrath Mage. It is the hero that we've seen Planet play to great success in the past. Hopefully, the LGD do take the panel's advice on board and play a little bit faster. Let us find out though, because we are about to get into the all-important second game. Gaimin Gladiators hoping to make it 2-0. LGD hoping to make it a draw. Let's find out what outcome happens as we get into Game 2.
Gaimin Gladiators turn to ban.
We're in it right now. Game 2 of Gaimin Gladiators versus PSG.LGD. We've seen a reversal right now between first pick and Radiant and second pick and Dire. The two teams are swapped around here. Right now in the meta, Faith Beyond, which side do you think is more dominant between Radiant and Dire?
I think it's pretty even, but I know some team maybe prefer Dire, but I don't know why. I think it depends on player.
I think with Dire, the biggest change that I've noticed, because it does seem pretty even, but it feels like if you're running something like a Beastmaster lineup, you usually are ready to take Roshan around minute 15 to minute 20. Like, you'll take a fighter on the top lane, you'll go into Rosh with your Beastmaster or whichever Rosh enabling hero you have, and you take it on your side. So that's the only thing that I've noticed consistently throughout these Dire games.
Another thing that we've noticed consistently from Gaimin Gladiators, Lacoste, is how well they play around this IO. LGD, not necessarily a team that does that well with it. So every single game, are you just forced to ban IO against GG at this
You
point?
might be, because when you look at how Gaimin Gladiators played so far in this year, they don't like to experiment too much. They have a winning formula and they're sticking to it, so you better ban those heroes that they've been playing. Like, once they formed, when Quinn joined the team, you know that like there's gonna be like 15 different heroes that they're gonna just keep swapping, and they're gonna be winning. So I think Zhao 8, he's gonna need to think outside of the box, and opening up with Timbersaw, already a different one. I'm just gonna say it that I don't think there's gonna be a single hero that we've seen from the previous game on side of PSG.LGD in this one as well. I think they're gonna completely pick different heroes.
But I already like this Timbersaw for LGD so much more because they have a hero that can deal with boot. They have a hero to exert their own map pressure as opposed to maybe trying to match the enemies. And they also enable their Coddle, which they love to run because they have a hero that benefits greatly from it. So far so good. This is what you want to see coming out of overall first pick.
This is also New's best hero on the Timbersaw. He has the highest win rate with it. What do you make of the open on the side of Gaimin Gladiators here, Faith Beyond? They're not going to be going for the Pango. They bring in the Lion instead. Do you feel like it makes a good partner with the Broodmother and a good counter to the Timbersaw?
Yes, kind of. Because Broodmother, you need some stun support to help you get the kill. And also Timbersaw is kind of afraid of like strong stuns.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. What Lion does not lack at all is disable. And when you have these very motion-based heroes, which you not only have in the Timber, but in the Coddle, things like Hexes and Impales can be so valuable to taking them out, especially if you get the blink on the Timber into the finger.
If you were playing Timbersaw, would you like call for another ban potentially to protect the Timbersaw pick?
For now, I think maybe not, because Timbersaw is very strong hero and you can put it on mid and off lane. So if they pick some counter pick, you can just rotate, flex it.
Speaking of flexibility, Keeper of the Light has been played in this team by Planet, While You Smile, as well as Nothing to Say. So given what this game looks like right now, Effie, where does it seem most likely that the old man is going?
The old man? That is a position 4 old man. And I wouldn't mind seeing a Pangolier actually come out of PSG, because then you've got the Coddle Pango combo. It's going to be great against Brood, but you're going to be able to play the tempo that Faithion keeps talking about. You have to match Gaimin's aggression with aggression of your own.
See Gaimin Gladiators covering their options, no Storm. They're thinking that this Timbersaw could go mid for NTS, so they're taking out the Mars as well. I mean, he's also played Mars mid. They're going to be the ones picking out of the phase first on the side of Gaimin here. So what do you want to see, Lacoste? Another support, or do you want to see a core hero first?
I think considering that you might be playing at the Timbersaw, you go for position 5 in this scenario, keep things open. Gaimin Gladiators, they're forced to ban these heroes that benefit a lot from Chakra Magic, and I already like that PSG.LGD is making this shift to like low cooldown. They're not relying on any big cooldowns, heroes that can easily rotate, strong early on heroes. So banning out all these heroes that benefit from Chakra Magic, there's still Ember Spirit left in the pool against the Broodmother. You use that Sleight of Fist, especially with the recent changes. So you disappear from the map, like you don't exist, and there it is.
All right, well, your Pango is stolen.
I mean, you have to at this point. You don't want to expend a ban because you're more afraid of the Ember combination that Lacoste just mentioned. So you take the Pango for yourself. It's a signature. It allows you to play into Timbersaw drafts early. It allows you to catch the Coddle. But yeah, I mean, it's counterable now, right? You can pick a favorable matchup.
So let's see, Faithbeyond, you're in this position right now. What would you prefer LGD to do? Because they have to respond to this Pango. Do you want them to reveal their hand as to where the Timbersaw is going, or should they keep it open until as late as possible?
I think they can put Timber on to mid right now, and they can pick a strong off lane and post 5. And I think they just keep going for early stage, pick some early stage hero, because Gaimin is, again, like Pango and Brood, very strong early stage hero, yeah.
Do any heroes stand out that could help them in that early stage at the moment?
I need to think about that.
It's still in the pool.
Yeah?
Forgot about it completely. This is a LGD specialty hero.
Yeah. It's also potentially a flex because they can decide where they want to put this Primal Beast. Most likely going to be mid in this scenario because NTS just adores to play the hero. So a lot of early on aggression, a lot of magic damage, lowering the cooldown on Primal Beast. Bane is the one that can keep the distance. Hero that does struggle against the Broodmother, sometimes against Pango, but he's also good against Pango. During the Rolling Thunder, you can grip him, and then other guys are going to do their own thing. Now also with the relatively recent changes to Primal Beast, his ulti is insanely good. It does go through debuff immunity, so that works out amazingly.
Yeah, but also the Bane is a strong laner. We were talking about the importance of securing your lanes, and Bane can provide that completely because he does trade very well with the Lion because of the sustain coming out of Brainsop. But also the Primal Beast versus Broodmother is probably the best solution that you can have out of the mid lane, because you can just charge onto her really early on trample and you can kill her. You kill her so quickly, especially if you have the help of a Coddle behind you.
Different charge this time. In the last game they did have Spirit Breaker, but I do prefer this one, especially if it's from the mid lane. You max out your spells early on, so you kill these Spiderlings so easily, both supports. If you don't get the lift off or get the stun off, you know that most likely you're gonna die.
But I'm curious what you think, Faithion, about the Broodmother. Do you think we might see a potential Broodmother flex, or would you prefer it to be an offlane? And if it does go on offlane, what kind of item build do you think they should play against LGD's heroes? Seems like there's a lot of magic damage.
I think Broodmother just built some normal, like physical damage, BKB, hacks, something. Yeah.
So you don't feel like they might need a pipe or anything like that? Or it doesn't help?
I don't think so. They can pick like a high damage and BKB hero, something like that.
Okay. Doxia being taken out by PSG.LGD, so they are wary of a potential pipe builder coming out in the game. And also, this might. Well, what kind of heroes do y'all think get telegraphed with this Doxia? I mean, there's still this AM that's still in the pool. What else is still left that feels very, very good on the enemy team has Doxia? Or feels bad, rather, actually.
I think you're not really. I mean, Darkseer is just probably a hero you never want to get caught off guard with, right? It's the most valuable offlaner in this patch, so taking it out at this point when there's a potential brute flex to carry is the right thing to do. But it does open up illusion carriers on your side.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Medusa potentially, since they have Keeper of the Light on their side. Good synergy between these two. But, you know, maybe the hero has been nerfed way too heavily, so they might go for something different.
Yeah, I think Medusa might be a little bit scary just because of the mana drain from Lion and the defusal from Tango.
Yeah, that's true, but yeah, now that you said it, it sounds
but what do you
like
think?
It's a no-go.
But what do you think, Faithian? Is there a potential Medusa, or is it just out of the works here for LGD?
I don't think Medusa is good because Timbersaw and Primal Beast, they already have like late game damage. They already have enough damage, I think. They still need something like can either join fight with them or can push tower to so you can like smoke to your carry and get killed and push tower.
How do you feel about something like a Faceless Void?
I think it may be too slow.
Too slow?
Yeah.
So what kind of carry would you like to see come out here for LGD? Because they have the 23 pick. You're talking about the fighting carries archetype, and Gaimin take out the Monkey King, which could have fit the bill really nicely.
Yeah.
It would have laned into the Broodmother really well. We saw the Ursa not turn out so great, so I really hope they don't come back to that.
I think this monkey says that they're going to be playing Broodmother from the safe lane one more time. It's just some of these like big heroes that don't like to play like Underlord. I think they might be looking into Tide inside of Gaming Gladiators, just taking out like, do you want to pick a hero like Ursa one more time? Because I'm seeing Tide Hunter and it's a lot of team fight. It's the hero that is not afraid of other heroes other than the Timbersaw, I would say, but gives them overwhelming team fight on their side.
We have to remember, this is Shiro, so the likeliest options are either PL, Naga, or his Clinks that are still remaining in the pool. Do either of them strike you as viable in this game, Faithbjorn?
I think maybe Naga or actually Lina. I think maybe, yeah.
Oh, Lina's interesting. Can you elaborate on that?
Cause you can like farm very fast and you can hit tower very fast, and also if you lane with Brood on lane, it's also fine. So and they like play. Oh, this is really good. Yeah, this is like you can push tower and you can speed up your game. Yeah, this is really good.
This is exactly what you were asking for. A carry that can rotate for a kill, take a tower, and take over the jungle. And traditionally in the past, Luna was a hero that lanes incredibly well versus any kind of melee offlaner, and she still does that really nicely. Especially her aura here is going to be very valuable in LGD's group up.
Yep, can definitely play a lot faster, and like Effie is mentioning, Lacoste, no matter if they're not that scared of the brute flex anymore, because you can put the Lina there. If there's a Tide that comes in that side of the map, you don't really care either. This has just covered so many options for them, and it also gives them the ability to actually fight Gaimin in the earlier portion of the game.
Yeah, Bane, a hero that utilizes that early aura. We already talked about him being a strong laner, so this is the lane that they want to win. Like Luna plus Bane, two range heroes. It feels like they're focusing heavily into lanes, gives them tempo, gives them roche taking potential. And now Faceless Void comes out. There's like decent amount of burst damage, especially magical pre-BKB. In terms of control, nothing to say with the Primal Beast, any kind of a spell from Bane. I don't know, I gotta say I'm liking PSG.LGD's draft way more in this one, but still feeling Gaming Gladiators.
I think the Faceless Void gives Gaimin late game security, which they needed because they couldn't go for a more traditional illusion carry because they would get run over by the Luna ball timing, right? But the issue with Faceless Void is he is going to lack a little bit of damage in the early game, so he's going to play more of a farm-oriented, if I see a good chrono, I'll come in and cast it type, which will give space for LGD to play the kind of lineup they want. You don't pick Luna to farm, you pick Luna to fight. So I think LGD might be able to take this one.
Faithbion, what do you think? Game 1, you wanted them to play with a lot more pressure. They definitely have that. The Faceless Void, you were concerned about it being too slow for LGD. Is it also too slow for Gaimin Gladiators in this game?
I think for gaming, they obviously need to pick a hero that you can deal damage with yourself. You can buy some big beats of stuff, and the Void is very good at this game. But also, I think LGD's draft is very good at this game. So I think it's pretty even. I think if LGD can win, they need to do well on early stage. So I think we can just enjoy this game and see what LGD can do. Yeah.
I'm gonna let the boys cook, so I'm gonna take quick votes. LGD, Gaimin?
I'll go with Gaimin one more time.
LGD, Gaimin? LGD?
LGD.
LGD? LGD? I'm definitely going to be going for LGD because I want to see Gaimin lose. If I'm honest, I want to see some differentials in the final bosses. One of the things we are going to be seeing in this game, though, is, you know why I want to see them lose, Effie? I want to at least see them get to the finals without the easy road, you know? They got to earn their way there. It's been a bit too smooth, the progress for them getting into these finals. And I do think that seeing a template being set by a team like LGD allows other teams to say, oh, hey, here's the solution. Here's what we can do. Make it harder for them. I'm tired of seeing them say 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, the whole bracket all the way to the top. So I'm hoping that this is the game that's actually going to end up being successful for LGD. I want to see the Shiro Luna succeed. I want to see Gaimin Gladiators go down. But more importantly, as Faithbion said, I just want to enjoy some good Dota. So to bring us that Dota, we have Sunsfan, we have Kezu. Gentlemen, take it away.
Thank you very much, Snare. We are back for game number 2 between PSG.LGD and Gaimin Gladiators. Gaimin, of course, winning game 1 in a rout. Oh, they actually did use my proper picture. Thank you, production. We took exactly 2 pictures. Yours is very serious.
I took a very, I don't know, I think my other one is very clowny like yours. I don't know why you got that and I didn't.
I mean, is it clowny if it's all the time?
I mean, for you it's normal.
Yeah, that's what I was
for
going
me
to say.
it's clowny.
It's a very normal picture. I tried to take my passport picture that way, and they did not give me a good reaction.
Like,
so
no, sir, you need to look like a criminal.
Yeah, and I certainly do. As yeah, what do you think of these drafts, though? So we do see some new heroes. The Primal Beast somehow gets through into that second phase. LGD, I want to say, they're the team that kind of brought this hero onto the map. And
another hero that they
that's
brought.
true. I mean, this one, some of them haven't been that successful. Like we've seen go back and forth between teams depending on who's playing what. But Primal Beast has been, I think, the main one.
I really like LGD's adjustment from game 1 to game 2. The panel touched on the tempo of the game that they can play in. Also, I love the Luna pick. It's good for the lanes, it helps your Bane, the night vision, you can play faster, and they needed a hero that deals damage during this potential grip later, as we have a first blood play.
Yeah,
Sick
big
charge.
onslaught from nothing to
Blood
say.
grenade.
Blood grenade onto Tofu. He is going to pop the Fairy Fire to stay alive, and he will fall in the end to Why You Smile, getting that first blood. With that level 1 Enfeeble. What a spell.
Just a very classic, like 350 melee attack range hit from Primal Beast. All good, that's why you smile. It's gonna get the first blood, so they're set up pretty nicely, you know, in this bottom lane against, what's it, Brood Lion? Yeah, Luna Bane, they should be very happy in that lane, especially if you can Enfeeble Ace while he uses Insatiable Hunger, his trading is way worse because you reduce his attack damage by so much.
That's true, because Insatiable Hunger is base damage now.
Yeah, and also the lifesteal will be less as well, so overall this man-fighting power is just, it might be quite weak here for Ace, so I think LGD have some very nice lanes here.
Have people in Dream League when I was casting, everybody, regardless of position on Broodmother, would be building like carry, basically.
Yeah.
Like the right-click, harpoon, and whatnot. Can you still go the Aura build on this hero?
Sure you can.
Do you think that's more viable this game, potentially?
I would assume that he's probably still going to like kind of build as a carry. I mean, I don't think pipe is necessarily bad, and you still can do it. Most of the time, this right-clicking build will be a little bit better. But I would assume that this is just a very generic game. They're just going to try to drag it out. Because as the panel mentioned, if LGD want to do good in this game, which I think they can, they want to speed up the game. Make some moves early on with the Primal Beast, be ahead minute 15, get Luna, BKB, Mask of Madness, keep fighting, force a Roche, abuse the fact that Chrono is down, and play like that. Whereas Gaimin, they want to slow the game down.
Yeah, okay. And the last pick, because obviously the Broodmother was a flex initially. We've been
Yeah.
seeing it more as a position 1 than 3 at this tournament, which is still very early on, but end up last picking the Faceless Void, so a bit of a slower pace carry that takes a while to get online. Do you think that they'll have the time to get to that point, or is it too much pressure from LGD just on paper?
I think they can get there. If LGD play perfect, then I think they will not give the Ratio this time, as Planet in a little bit of trouble. But this is a damn scary Faceless Void game. Like later when he can play longer fights with more time walks and time dilations, even just these 2 spells against the Radiant heroes, it's going to be devastating.
Yeah, Timbersaw especially on that. I mean, he's going to have to get BKB or a Lotus or something to dispel the time dilation. And I'm interested to see if Nothing to Say. I think he's changed the build. He's the one that quote-unquote pioneered the Blade Mail Primal, but he stopped doing it because it wasn't that good. And then everybody else, they didn't watch the replays or something because they continued to do it. And then a week later, like, oh, he's not building anymore. Okay, let's stop building that.
No, they didn't get the memo.
Yeah. But do you think it's just going to be the usual, what is it, like BKB, sometimes Blink, into like Heart?
Yeah, like
this, a lot of that.
This BKB Blink into maybe Axe or Heart, as Why You Smile, just getting chained down.
Yeah, Hop
Good
to want to
stick,
stay
range
alive, but his teammate is blocking him, so
reported.
We'll go down anyway.
I mean, the problem with Primal, or the weird thing about Primal is that your first item is like kind of awkward. That's why I also think this Blade Mail feels like really, really nice to buy. Because like, what other small items can you buy before your BKB? Because sometimes it can like feel,
I miss the drums build.
I've seen it, and I think it is strong, but then you feel strange when they run out of charges. Because you don't want to go phase into bongos. It takes so much gold.
Get both.
Just
boots.
Demote Planet to buy it.
Yeah.
You're like, bro,
no, I know
buy
what you
this.
mean. It is true. It is a bit awkward.
But drums do feel good.
Yeah. I mean, you could technically, I'm pretty sure you can still refill drums, can you not? I mean, that recipe. I mean, it's never been done in the history of Dota, of course, but you could do it.
You were able to do it. I don't know if you still can. But even then, it's like, I think it doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
It's never felt great, actually.
It has never. There's Nothing to Say. Forced to go to this side of the map to get a bounty rune. We'll see what kind of rotations come off the 6 minute. In fact, he wants to rotate very early here.
Careful, brothers.
Don't see this every day. As the onslaught's coming for Tofu. Oh, and he actually cancels the onslaught halfway through, so Nothing to Say ends up wasting a lot of time. About to just walk back to base the old-fashioned way.
I assume that he knew that Tofu will just be too ready, will just hex him, so instead of wasting time and kind of playing a chance game, he would rather go back to mid. I don't mind it too much, but overall I think the lanes LGD are doing well. Let's look at this CS board. I think these Timber and Darkseer matchups have changed quite a bit from earlier patches to now, because these heroes hit a lot harder. Look at Timber's damage right now. It's 86 compared to the Ratio's like, I don't know, 67, 70. So he's like a 15 damage advantage. This was not the case like before Universal Heroes.
That's right, and it's still a thing months later, it feels like.
Yep.
I mean, they have been getting nerfed, to be fair.
And the Lunar Aura, let's not forget.
That's fair, that's fair.
It's here now.
Yeah, Lunar Blessing, very powerful spell, of course. I'm surprised they didn't pick a Phoenix to counter it. Get that sun in the sky, very powerful counter.
Sun greater than moon.
That's right. I do wish they had more interactions like that in the game, as might be seeing some action. Nothing to Say. Again, very active early. The first time he attempted this, of course, did not work out, and he's going to get blood granted by Celery, who is just going to walk away again. So 2 failed ganks from Nothing to Say.
Well, very nice play from Celery, just like holding his lift. Maybe Nothing to Say should have held his onslaught there, as the Raj is going to try to pull the wave out. He's trying to kill the siege creep, and he manages. So even if he takes a lot of damage, great play by him. Neo would have been able to pressure this tower a lot in this lane.
Daracho sitting on 20-1 right now versus a 33-5 for the Luna on the other side. So you can just see quite the huge discrepancy in early CS going the way of LGD. And I mean, how much has this rotation from Nothing to Say hurt him? I don't know how many creeps he's actually missed, but you can see he's at a level disadvantage versus Quinn. And Quinn, of course, as he does, gets the first power rune of the game.
The biggest thing that these moves like hindered him from is him being level 6 so that he could have contested the rune. The reason why Quinn gets this rune is because he's 6 as down bottom. He now TPs.
So he was getting on initially. We can see the TP coming in from Quinn with that Arcane Rune. He's going to pop that Rolling Thunder, and Shiro is almost certainly dead, trying to get some sort of a kill onto Tofu, but it ain't happening. And Why You Smile? Well, going to dodge out Quinn. I don't think he was going to be able to find that anyway, so he's going to roll back to that mid lane where He is doing quite well. I mean, nothing to say in him in terms of just pure CS, relatively close, but now that Quinn has a kill under his belt, and of course the XP advantage that we mentioned, he's going to be very happy about this game.
And in the meantime, Celery got to take mid lane, so it's going to get a bit closer to his higher levels. Nothing to say, a bit of chase. And Quinn, he got to do all of this with an Arcane Rune, so his roll is already up in like, what, maybe 25 seconds. So by the time the next rune spawns or his next TP's up, he can already look for another play. So yeah, Gaimin doing the right moves, at least in the last 2 minutes, because Doratio is struggling a lot in this game. 2100 net worth at minute 7, that's not where you want to be at as a Faceless Void here.
Yep, but considering the mid lane is going so well, perhaps Gaimin are going to be, perhaps Quinn will be able to create enough space for him to get back online. As Blood Grenade comes out, the Hex from Tofu getting chased, but he goes into the trees. Another Blood Grenade catches him, but he's going to be able to walk away.
Doratio coming from behind, actually.
Ace into the trees he goes, as Doratio does get one, but it's very pitiful right click, as you mentioned. He's not a universal hero. We'll be going for the Midas. I assume it's a Maelstrom after the fact. I mean, he's going to be so many...
Yeah.
This is a very standard-ish build.
Yeah, as we touched on before, they want to slow down the game. So he's going to go Midas, Maelstrom, maybe BKB after, as they're going to try to go on Why You Smile.
Bash is there. Another Blood Grenade, this time from Celery.
Fable,
but the stick keeps him quite healthy. And now Nightmare into Ace is going to be taken off by the Rubik, as Doratio has to time walk a lot of that damage out. So
it's very
nothing
awkward.
really comes from this.
If I'm Ace, you just want to get level 6 as fast as possible to like... Because then you can go top and like just farm against the Timber. You're not going to lane against him as Brood, but you just get to farm the entire map around. So eventually he's going to go up there, because Doratio's like, bros, I don't want to lane top anymore. This Timber hits for 100. You know, I'm just a little pleb up here. So Ace is going to go top, get these spiders, but the LGD, they know. They're already smoking up here.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage from you. Yeah. That's what you have to fear against
I hear roll.
That's why he's banned so much as Quinn with the Rolling Thunder, trying to get another kill on Shiro, who's still only level 5 right now, and that is going to be an easy pickoff as the Bane not able to do too much. First pulverize of the game, though, from Nothing to Say in that top lane, so they get a little reciprocation onto Ace.
So both teams making a very similar move where you know you have to like help out your side lane core to continue to pressure the map. So 1-for-1 trade on the sides of them. So over here, Doratio, he's starting to breathe a little bit. He's also getting closer to his level 6, which you know is going to allow them to pressure even more. But LGD is set up for a pretty good early game here.
Yeah, they do have the 1K lead, and like we mentioned last game, Gaimin, they're known for their laning stage. Having like a 1 to 2K lead at this point is very normal for them.
Yeah.
So considering that is not the case is definitely good.
This Enfeeble is so annoying.
Yeah.
He has 27 damage. Yeah, he just denied a creep in his face.
The Midas will be there soon. He won't have to hit creeps.
That's true.
For the most just every couple of minutes can use that.
Oh, here comes Tofu.
Yeah,
there's a lot of LGD heroes coming.
Doratio, Nothing to Say come from the other side. Onslaught available. We'll be using it, and it gets a pulverized off as well. Doratio dead. Nice layering there. Make sure he could not time walk away. And now, just like that, it's ballooned to a 3K lead for LGD as Ace. I mean, normally you can just leave him in these lanes, but he does have to be careful against the Timbersaw, who is maybe the scariest hero alone in a lane.
No one is
left alone.
Yeah, they're not touching this Timber right now. If they want to kill Timber, they need Celery's level 6, Tofu's level 6, and then smoke with those two and Quinn on him and try and get a kill. Until then, Neo's just going to live rent-free wherever he wants to be. And Nothing to Say, you mentioned the Blink, and I kind of like this adaptation from him. We talked about they should play fast. If it's just Bane who has to run around and grip people, it's really hard, so he wants to rush a Blink. Why You Smile's having a great time. He's nearly level 6 too, so yeah, honestly, LGD doing a lot of great moves right now in this game.
And of course, Lacoste did mention the new interaction, well, quote-unquote new, with Pulverize being able to go through BKB effectively, which against that Rolling Thunder, pretty important in the right circumstances to go along with the Fiend's Grip. So they do have a couple answers for that Rolling Thunder.
Very nice move here by Neo to also kind of read this smoke play coming out from GG. Only with the Pango and Lion, you know, being fogged on the map, he reads that, he backs off, so they're going to continue to upkeep their map play, but down bottom.
Chrono onto 2, and you can see the rotation from the south. They're focusing right now onto Shiro, but Tofu has to get the Hex off onto the Bane.
Nope.
And the Rolling Thunder from Quinn has to be reserved just for Why You Smile, so not exactly who they came for. but Gaimin gets something at least.
Well, they brought the whole family for that play, so they better get 1 kill. Well, Shiro probably pretty happy about just, you know, he just walks it off. He's like, okay, roll, Chrono. I'm just going to farm my way to the left. Going to farm some jungle, has his Dragonlance completed. He's going to start to get some more levels to just clear it out even more. And yeah, I think the Gaimin's map looking a little more, I mean, a lot slower and less open than it usually is at this time of the game for them.
And at what stage for LGD are they gonna kind of put the pedal to the metal? Like, when will Shiro be? Okay. Well, will he be participating in these pushes initially? Or do you need to get to a certain, like, do you need Manta first?
Like, the way that they're likely going to play now is that the 3 to 4 heroes without the Luna, they play very aggressive. And when they start the move, he's like going to linger. He's going to look, okay, they're getting 1 kill. Maybe they're close to getting a second one. I'm going to join. And then it's like, okay, we got the kills. Easy tower. Go back to farming and like kind of have a nice back and forth. Because his team, honestly, they're so strong. They're just going to smoke it up straight up.
Yeah, why not? Blink Dagger. I'm not sure if that's actually been revealed yet, but nothing to say. Has it in tow.
May have been in the move just there in the jungle, but either way, if you're Gaimin, you have to be damn careful right now. Grip is available. You have the blink on Nothing to Say. Planet as well with an Urn. Gonna look into some more plays as well. Would love to give himself a charge, but looks like Ace is kind of sniffing this one for now.
Yeah, they're gonna see the spiders. Of course, the smoke has yet to break, so they know he's not in the trees here, wasting a little bit more time, and that's been kind of the big negative here for Nothing to Say is it's going to be 3 attempted ganks this game that have basically nothing has come from it. There's now a counter smoke from G.Gladiators. Why You Smile's going to pop it on Quinn. Dodges the swashbuckle. Rolling Thunder's coming. Why You Smile does have grip, but they do have TPs coming in. Quinn really likes the wall.
And a driver barely bumps into the sidewall. I mean, to be fair, it would have maybe just been too deep, and instantly LGD, they're just going to smoke it up again. They're like, third time's got to be the charm, right?
They know that Rolling Thunder is on cooldown. Pulverize onto Celery to start things out. The first finger of the game is going to be enough to delete Why You Smile. So punishing the fact that LGD were not together on that smoke.
Okay,
ends up being a 1-for-1 for supports.
Yeah, just a simple 1-for-1 trade. And I kind of like that New is just continuously, he's chasing the Ratio right now. Because we've talked about the early damage, the damage discrepancy between these two heroes. He hits for 140, so he's just slowing it down. Here we see the little smoke again, just a 1-for-1 chill trade.
Yeah, 14-minute rune is going to be top. It is the shield rune. Would you consider, what do you think the best rune at this stage, just in general, is? Is there even one? I mean, obviously some of them are hero dependent, but like on average, if you
probably
had to guess.
Arcane or Haste. I think like early to mid game, Arcane and Haste runes are like some of the most broken ones. I mean, Arcane, Haste, Shield rune. Let's
Shield rune is 75-second duration. Just think about that.
It's way too good. This Timber, literally with Shield rune right now, he could walk to the tier 2 and laugh at them.
Yeah, well, Shiro, he's the one that takes it, and he's feeling pretty invulnerable right now, so he's going to
Nothing to
help
say.
his team out. The Hex is going to cancel this onslaught, though. There's Nothing to Say, creating a good amount of space so this tier 1 tower will fall. I'm going to say has to pop the upper to try to stay alive, but
He's just
he knows
dying,
he's
he shot
dead.
them.
So, G.Gladiators do get something for their tier 1 going down. Shiro, he's caught out all by himself in the river, a little bit slow to retreat. And with the stolen Chakram from Celery, it's going to be more than enough damage. So 2 core kills in favor of Gaimin. LGD blundering that a bit.
Ooh, a very nice defense by Gaimin, but yeah, for sure.
And now we have a Chrono onto 2. Both supports, do they have the follow-up damage? The Chakram is coming. Double kill for Quinn as Planet trying to keep himself alive, but that's not going to happen. And now everybody's surrounding New. Nice lift, Timber Chain. Quinn extremely low on HP, trying to dodge that Chakram, and he does. Double kill for Ace. It's effectively a full team wipe. Nothing to say. He'll find one off the TP. He's going to get canceled off his trample, though. There's Nothing to Say now. Has to try to walk away. And at the very least, he will not die, but still so many dead. And Dyrachyo, he did end up falling in the end.
No, we're going for round 6 of this team fight.
I was going to say, is this over yet?
Okay, now it might be. If you're LGD, you need to be more careful. You're not allowed to make this type of mistake. Nothing to Say just goes in a little bit too deep. And it's really awkward for your team to come and try and help you. You're doing it against a Faceless Void Pango. If you overstep, easy 3-man Chrono or a nice roll coming out, then they're just too quick, and Dyrachyo, what a boss. Just gets around, gets his 2-man Chrono, and then it goes from 2 kills into what, 4? Well, it just makes it look too easy.
Yeah, so a full team wipe, kind of scattered and or staggered, I should say. They do lose Dyrachyo in the end, but still far far in favor of Gaming Gladiators, and we talked about the lead being in LGD's favor in terms of the net worth. It is completely even now, if not in Gaming Gladiators' favor. Is Dyrachyo. He will die again, though, in the bot lane, so that ends up being a very big double kill, effectively. So he's going to have to sit in base for even longer.
Well, he's currently...
his net worth is terrible.
Oh, I love the sound right now. The grip.
Yeah, what is that? Just never ending?
It's never ending if we keep going back to bottom. To say. Okay, it's looking.
Don't go back there. Oh, it's
right. God, it ended. Unlucky. As yeah, Dyrachyo is not having the best time, but for now we talk about, he just needs long fights, he needs a lot of time dilation, good chronos. He's been delivering on that, but they're going to have to try and help him to kind of get this net worth later in the game. And yeah, for LGD, they're going to have to take a breather and definitely talk about, okay, we don't want to overplay. We need to take the good place, the nice place in front of us, take the easy objectives, maybe get Roche. And now they're looking at these two BKBs. Nothing to say down mid, though.
Nothing to say, getting completely punished for trying to take out this wave mid. Rolling Thunder will continue to perma-stun him.
Can't do anything.
And Quinn gets the kill. Nicely played from Gaimin, so a bit of a back and forth. Dyrachyo is the one that has struggled the most, though, for sure. Still going for that Maelstrom off the top of his Midas. And with those two, I mean, he's, I would assume, still very scared to even farm this side right now.
Looks like it. The grip is not quite up yet, so he could probably look to just chill there as Gaimin. The killing trio running around. Honestly, Celery with the chakram that he had until a moment ago, it's done so much. From the mid-tier 1 fight into the tier 2 play, then this mid-kill just now, nothing to say as well. They have so much control in their lineup. The Pango roll, the Lion stun, so these chakrams have done a hell of a job for him.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty easy steal, too.
Oh, very easy, yeah.
If anything, it's hard for New to not give that up.
Yeah. Okay.
Philly Stone now online for Celery. He's ready for the late game. Just needs some time.
Always love having a Philly Stone. Just get all the items you want. Why You Smile would probably love to get that as well. Maybe pump out a Solar Crest for Shiro as, at least Planet has one. He's going for the big boy item. Already looking at a Scythe as Ace. He's got an 8... they've got some insane item timings once again. 18-minute BKB, 18-minute Lincolns on Pango, so who cares about this grip? There's zero counterplay right now to him coming in with the roll. They're going to have to try to use some, I guess, Kado and Lucent Beam that can try to break it through, but even then there's so much coming back from behind that can just stop Why You Smile from gripping him.
Okay, this might be a very dumb question. Can you not just, I mean, it doesn't do anything, like in terms of damage. Can't you still brain sap through BKB technically?
Yeah, but then he's still
takes off the Lincoln?
It still gives you like less range.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to be like Shiro and Planet try to break the Lincolns. And even that, I just feel like, sure, the Lincolns isn't like an all-out counter that just makes it unplayable, but there's so much coming in from the backline of Gaimin. Like, there's no way Why You Smile is gonna get off a full grip unless Gaimin really make an insane mistake in the next fight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice little tree there for Why You Smile.
Easy juke.
Nice little corner. Beautifully done. The BKBs are starting to come online now. You can see one for Nothing to Say. Ace has one of his own. And the Luna not too far off as well.
Why You Smile being a little agent down here, trying to give all the vision that he can. 20-minute room. This first Roche, I think, is really, really game-breaking for both teams. And if LGD want to have a good shot in this game, they need to set it up properly, and they need to be the ones to get their hands on these Aegis.
Yep, as the rune is bottled by Nothing to Say. It'll be very hard to take out now with that shield.
Why You Smile is setting up bottom in the smoke right now, but he's going to need people to come over.
Yep, Ace. He's does have some support here in the form of Celery, but he could get squeezed in if he's not careful. Now that BKB is online, as Onslaught's going to stun him up. The pulverized BKB being popped as well. Nice sleep from Why You Smile, which will set up the grip, and that is
nice
a
play.
death onto Ace. Great job. Oh, big swashbuckle from Quinn, though. He gets the Rolling Thunder off as well. Gets the kill onto Why You Smile. Looks like Planet is next on the list, as Tofu showing off his newly picked up Blink Dagger as well, as Quinn secures a double kill. But it is a trade for for Ace, who is a core. So I would still say PSG.LGD is going to be relatively happy with this.
Yeah, they're going to be okay with that. The only problem is that in this meantime, Dyrachyo just keeps getting to farm. As this was very nice, just gets in, stun, BKB gets popped, Why You Smile on the back, easy sleep into grip. So they do kill Ace. They're definitely doing some nice stuff in the game right now, but there's so much lockdown that these kills just take a while. Quinn just gets to come over, easy kills, and now they want to be the ones to actually force this Roche here.
Yep. Obviously, having a Pango at your disposal to disarm Roche continually, pretty damn nice. Brood would also help, but he's not interested at the moment. And
he's trying to make his way. There's LGD.
Certainly, you give this to Quinn.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Dyrachyo is just a chrono and he tickles.
Yeah, honestly, just allow Quinn to get into this game. Like, continue to just, he's top net worth, keep his game good, allow him to play it the way he wants. And LGD not contesting or getting this first Aegis is honestly a huge deal to their win rate even in this game. Like, their win probability is gonna drop by a lot right now. 5-man smoke.
Yeah, I think this was a very important Roche for LGD, especially with a Luna that wants to hit buildings, not having the extra life. We'll see how much of a difference it makes in this game. But yeah, like you said, both teams smoke. Not gonna connect as not yet as LGD walk in the opposite direction, but now
Planet knows he's drawing.
His pops. Nice swatch. Look on to 4 heroes. Gets the rolling thunder off as well. The finger deletes 1. Planet's the first to fall as the pulverize actually been canceled by Nothing to Say. Not interested in this fight any longer. And the Bane at the very least, I would assume, will eventually drop. Oh, but the Horsey helping him out. Oh, and Quinn not able to guess correctly onto the high ground. He's going to get a little bit of vision now.
He ain't going to stop.
Yep, 3 seconds on the swash. We'll have to guess again because the tree line is there. Nice dodge again from Why You Smile. Quinn, is he committed? How much does he want the Bane?
Uh-oh, next one.
Okay, so he successfully kills the creep wave. Quinn's going to be happy with that.
Too easy for Why You Smile. Got the Nikes on, but what a sick initiation from Gaimin. 3-man swash into Lion Stun, into the roll. That's some sexy gameplay.
Yeah, the Lincolns. I mean, they do have things to pop it, but it just takes too much time. Like everything for Bane, it just takes a year for them to cast, right? That's the main issue with this hero.
And here,
what a god!
Easy outplay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What up, Quinn?
Just walking a straight line.
He's gonna have to play another 100 Pango games to make up for that miss.
Yep. True. True.
Will only take him like until the end of the tournament.
New has the S&K, and Blink Dagger's next on the list as he's currently being pursued a bit by Ace.
Brendo.
Yeah. You have some more members, and Tofu's going to blink in with the Hex, the Impale to follow, but the BKB actually activated from New.
Dyrachyo will
stop. TP out. So no finger available there for Tofu, still on cooldown.
Ooh, Dyrachyo actually got stuck on his time walk there. Could have nearly killed him, but New does get out. Nothing to say mid. I mean, Gaimin are just everywhere, even though they're technically slightly behind in this game. They're making all the moves. LGD need to look for a timing where they can try to go together to fight back. Because playing a passive map against these Gaming Gladiators heroes is not easy. Quinn is just going to run around with his blink. He has Tofu's follow-up. It might be this butterfly on Shiro, where they're like, okay, now it's time. We got to go together. Let's take a fight. Let's go.
Have we seen Eclipse the entire game?
I don't think so.
Passive Eclipse. Nice job from Quinn. Should be able to...
Oh, he wants to get bumped.
Oh, actually, yeah.
Good job. Quinn even cancels the roll there to just not bump him to the low ground.
Yeah.
Just, Omega nerd.
Good pick. That's a good thing to be in this game, of course.
Oh, it is. I wish I was an Omega nerd when I played.
3-time major winner. Omega nerd.
Yep. He'll take it as a compliment.
Yeah, for sure.
Trust me.
Why You Smile with his grip, but he's going to show himself.
It's going to enfeeble him for good measure.
Yeah, just to be a little bit more annoying. The tilt factor is always there, for sure.
I just drop his items. Guys, I don't want to play anymore.
Could pull a Swindle Mountains. It's happened before.
Yeah, maybe he drops a Maelstrom.
It's a little bit more important than Yules.
A little bit. It's okay. What can we look at? It just feels like it's just all Gaimin. I haven't seen much from LGD other than they're trying to get some farm here. They're trying to do this there. Like, I don't know how much more they want to wait because I feel like it's got to be go time soon. Maybe the Solar Crest as well.
Shiro, he has to pop his BKB as Quinn shows himself. He's going to get pulverized in the meantime. There's the Eclipse, but all the spiders are going to eat it up. And they get the cancellation as well, so buying more time as PSG.LGD have to wait additional time.
Yeah, now what you want. You just picked up another great item. Now you popped your first Eclipse, didn't do anything. Your first BKB didn't do anything. And Gaimin are just getting all these items that they want, right? Celery with his Philosopher's Stone. He's chilling. He even steals the Pulverize. All spells are ready for Gaimin as well. Just kind of hiding and continuing to control the map.
Yeah, Impale from Tofu setting this up. And the Rolling Thunder is enough to take out Why You Smile. New is next on the list as Ace coming in from the high ground. They find Planet, and that's another easy pickoff for Gaimin. So 2 supports dead, just like that. And I mean, this is what happens when you have the Aegis, you know? I mean, I feel like if there was no Roche in that instance, LGD would have already tried to push or do something.
Yeah,
right?
or like force Roche themselves, right? If they could, if it was still alive, but it's not. They have this Aegis, they can push forward on you, and LGD are just, they're not fighting back. I'm not sure what they're waiting for, or if they're just not sure. Because right now, Gaimin, they're just one step ahead all the time. Beautiful catch by Tofu on this lane ward. They run over, get the roll. Just make it look so simple.
And we'll see if they try to go for this Tormentor as
Why You Smile, setting up.
Grouping up. Tofu and Why You Smile basically right next to each other. Tofu, he's going to get spotted. He's still standing, still funny, gets off the Hex and is deleted.
Chrono
Horacio comes in to try to get some retribution. Chrono onto 2. Why You Smile finally will go down. Nothing, they say it's the Pulverize, and it's enough to take out Horacio. And that means Gaimin Gladiators are going to continue because at this point, Horacio is kind of a support hero, it feels like. 2 for 1. Quinn, he's going to reset. Does have Rolling Thunder in 3 seconds, but...
all good. No spells ready.
Out.
I mean, LGD, they were just pretending. They were baiting them.
I guess.
And I think Tofu was cosplaying an illusion there as well.
Yeah, that was... I mean, I'd have to see what kind of vision. They definitely, like, literally saw him, pinged him out, and he still didn't react.
Honestly, he may have been, like, looking mid, like, oh,
yeah,
maybe they're smoking mid and, like,
yeah,
killing a creep. Like, this LGD needed this. I think if any more momentum goes into Gaimin Gladiators, the game just falls out of their hands. Now for LGD, some momentum. You're finishing the Scythe as well on Planet, which is a huge item. Nothing to say, getting closer to his Lincolns. We've got the Butterfly completed on Shiro, who's now looking for a Satanic. So he's going to look to try and tank through this Chrono as an easy shard for Celery. Yeah. Honestly, the defensive shard in this game is great. You have Force, you have Glimmer, you can lift people out. Yeah, you're living a chill life as a Pulse 5 Rubik here.
Yeah, that's one of the better shards for supports in the game.
Not bottom 3.
No, that is...
probably top 15.
Yeah, sure. Well, for supports or in general?
For supports, maybe like top 11.
Can't wait to see this tier list that you're coming up with eventually.
I'll have them by day 5.
Okay.
I'll print it out for you.
On paper.
On paper, yes.
I think
on my back.
Why You Smile's actually, yeah, he's queuing up an Aghanim Scepter, which I was going to ask if that's something that he would eventually, I mean, obviously he would want it, but that is a very ambitious.
Do you think he has 35 more? hold, Ace.
Nothing to say, okay. Get off the Pulverize onto BKB Ace.
That was a long grip.
Gets off, okay. They're actually getting the Rolling Thunder successfully from the other side, so Why You Smile is dead just as this fight starts, as Celery already stole the Pulverize, used it on his owner, nothing to say. Trying to get some retribution of his own with that BKB, but getting the bane for the line to start. The Eclipse finally comes out, Quinn. Getting bursted to a high degree. The Lincoln is finally popped. The Eclipse is still continuing to go. Lucent Beam was stolen, and it's going to be used onto Quinn. They do finally take him out. Very important kill for LGD. And with that, Gaimin Gladiator is going to try to run away, but the bash is there. And the time walk to safety. As even Celery gets out, so they don't lose as much as they could have, but a good fight from LGD.
They need the Chrono, and like in order to fight back nicely, even though this was like a 0.1 second grip, it actually didn't matter. As long as LGD keep getting to move forward with the Luna and keep hitting, then he's not really in too much trouble, and he's super strong with the Solar Crest being buffed up. But nighttime at least is over now, and Gaimin do have spells ready if they want to look to fight back. Also, 1.5 minutes for the second Roche. This is like the next most important thing in this game right now.
Just like every other game.
Every other game.
Roche, very important.
Very smart analyst here.
Those are my favorite statements. You're going to start making a tier list of what's the most important things in the game, and they're all Roche. Roche 1,
Roche and
Roche 2,
teamfight. Roche
3,
teamfight
Roche
buybacks.
4. You have to have the numbers of Roches, though.
Very true.
Shiro.
I'll get it to you in 6 days.
He's going to be going for the data list here. There's nothing to say. It has the Lincolns. Nullifier looks to be next for Ace. And yeah, like you said, Roche in 50 seconds.
Yeah, honestly, Shiro is a very scary boy right now. Had a couple of deaths in the game, maybe not the best Eclipses. I mean, then again, you're playing into Brute. You know, Brute's always going to tank some of that. But now with some of the items they have, if they can look at maybe having some buybacks for this next Roche fight and getting it into their hands, I think LGD are still in a very, very good position in this game.
Yeah. Very close game right now. Only 2 buybacks currently.
Indeed. Only on Gaimin's side, actually. So LGD don't have one.
Yeah.
Have any. If a fight
no
breaks
extra
out here.
opportunity here for the potential Roche-off, as we like to call it.
The Roche-off.
Will be up in 10 seconds. Smoke right now from Gaimin. They're hovering around the gates. Is New the tankiest target?
Ooh, they're looking.
He's going to get gone
Looking and
on. There's a
cooking.
Rolling Thunder with the Agam Scepter from Quinn. Look at the damage onto the Timber Saw with the Finger of Death as well.
Just dead.
He's bursted down 70 seconds with no Timber Saw now. Chrono onto 2, focusing on the supports to start this out, and the Bane is dead as well, and Shiro forced to try to fight through this, but now that the BKB is down, just going to get right-click down into Oblivion. Double kill for Duraccio, who is now online, and Planet's even going to die. So Gaimin Gladiators get 4 kills. Nothing to say the only member of LGD to live. This means Roche number 2 for Gaimin.
Your LGD are just too late to this. Like, Gaimin are already here fully. Look how nicely they do this. There's only a roll. Everyone else saves on, like, what, 800 range away. They pop all their spells. New didn't do anything in this fight. He blinked and he was dead.
I didn't even realize. Nothing to say. Tried to go for the Pulverize on to Quinn, but he had Lotus applied, so it just auto-canceled. He pursued him with BKB, wasted a lot of time, and ends up getting canceled anyway.
I mean,
so
Quinn
their
just
supposed counters to this Pango just not working out because of the itemization from Quinn.
Yeah, he can literally pop the Lotus on himself, and either the grip or the Pulverize, as you're talking about, it just gets reflected and doesn't do anything. I mean, this guy has played 18 billion games of Pango. He knows all the matchups, but just the fact that they're the ones there first. They're set up. They have the vision. They're all in a perfect position. Whereas LGD, you know, they're slowly scraping by. They're like, okay, who's going in first? Okay, New, it's your turn, and see you later. He's just dead.
I just want everybody to know that you might have heard a slap. That was Kezu slapping his hands to emphatically show how important that statement was.
Exactly.
Make sure you do it closer to the mic next time. It's
okay,
important.
I'll clap in your mic next time.
Yeah, that does work, I guess. Hex is there for Planet. We've seen that. I think he's had that for a bit, right? Or he just picked that up?
He had it for a bit. I believe he bought the gem, which dropped.
Ah.
That's why, you know, there's been a couple minutes. It's okay, old man.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us. And nothing to say.
Oh, they still have the gem at least, because nothing to say. He was barely made it out of the last fight, luckily for them.
Yeah, he's got the Kaya now, and well, it's an uphill battle for LGD. These 2 Roches being given up. I mean, honestly, the Luna, I mean, in theory, it makes sense. We haven't really seen this hero do anything, though, technically. Like, these...
There's been like...
When the itemization came online, they've taken a couple fights and they just lost both.
They had like 1 or 2 okay fights where he just got to like kind of run at them, but that's not by the nature of the hero. So they have not done the best job at, I think, integrating their 5 heroes and fighting together. It's always GG that are kind of like picking them off, or they're not ready yet for the fight. So yeah, Shiro's been having a hard time really trying to get his impact into this game.
Could you kindly close the door, because I hear somebody hacking up a lung behind me. It's really distracting.
All right, I got you, bro.
There's hacking up something real mean up there.
Yeah, we don't want any of that.
9K lead for Gaimin. Still with that Aegis, of course.
Lots of pinging going on. Probably
on
we want to smoke. Yes, so genius analyst once again.
Thank you.
Wow, you're welcome.
Could never have guessed.
It's Duraccio.
He's first in line. It's going to get popped. Time walks in. Time dilation only onto Planet.
Up only 4 stacks.
Yeah.
There's a 5th.
And eventually, Planet does get off the Hex, but Swashbuckle in the Telekinesis. That's enough. And Duraccio, very crazy. Of course, we talked about the Aegis.
They're looking for a top, nothing to say.
Yep, they Hex him after proccing the Lincolns. Rolling Thunder's coming. He actually cancels it early as he's going to attempt to get out of dodge here with the TP, and he will just barely get out. Oh my goodness, that was close.
He actually got out with literally like 1 hit left. Once again, the criminal play gets to barely get out with the gem, kind of a saving grace in this game for now. As, okay, we have nighttime coming up, and honestly, I'm not sure how you fight Gaimin right now. LGD gonna have to cook up something cool, because I think it's gonna be damn hard.
Yeah, Shiro opting to go for the Scotty next, but still quite a ways away. And I don't know, the fights are really weird. It feels like he can't even just sit and right-click very effectively.
It's hard because I think Luna Timber is maybe a bit of an awkward dual core. They both require the enemies to like be stunned for them to truly deal damage. Like they don't really help each other in the fight. Maybe Timber can go in for you and like be a body. I think that's like the best thing New can really do. Maybe blink in with his new Shivas and
it feels like that's what Primal is there for, but
it's just really
going
hard
for Pango every time because you kind of have to. If you just let this Rolling Thunder go free, then you're going to be at a disadvantage in the fight.
That's why it's such an annoying Faceless Void game. Like, at the moment LGD overstep with their draft, he can choose where to go. Do I want to chrono the backline? Do I just want to chrono, like, maybe Shiro if he's out of position once he has this MKB on Dyrachyo? They can just kill him. So you can tell that LGD having a hard time team fighting.
Dyrachyo with a 1v1 battle, but he might not like what he got signed up for. Okay. The Aegis will get consumed.
Little free kill. We take those. Aegis gone.
He's just testing his might right now. It's not the highest, I guess.
We've got the Moonglaze fired on Lucent Beam, so we're good.
Okay, the old shard.
Yeah, back on the talent now. That's, we get to see the true HP here. With a very good stun lock. Celery comes by with the onslaught here too. Finger of Death. Oh, 13. That's just unlucky. It's an unlucky number.
I like that number, actually.
I don't want to cast with you anymore.
Okay.
Take it away.
Back to you. I don't want to cast with you anymore. Take it away.
All right.
So, now that the Aegis is gone, do you think Gaimin have enough of an advantage to just 5-man, or is this a Roche 3 waiting kind of deal?
They're going to continue to try and have a... Okay, Dyrachyo. You gotta be careful when Dyrachyo is posturing aggressively.
Yeah, that's true. We gotta watch him.
They should feel good enough about playing aggressive, but just they have no need to dive the base.
Oh my god,
hello.
doing so much damage, has to pop his BKB along with Dyrachyo.
That's a BKB trade.
Still has that Chronosphere.
Oh, nice
gets it on the 3 heroes. Early BKB does go off from the Luna, and you can see Quinn gets off the Rolling Thunder, doing massive damage in tow, just stun locking the Luna completely. And down goes Shiro again. The Luna, despite being so farmed, just hasn't been able to do too much. Does have buyback, double buyback right now coming from LGD, so Gaimin have to be a bit careful now they're on the doorstep of LGD's base. Sleep onto Quinn with the Lotus Orb and gets the swashbuckle off to the low ground. Pops the cheese to stay alive, nothing to say. Getting off the trample, but slowed to a crawl. Have an E-Blade now, apparently. Gets reflected as Quinn's going to swash to safety.
This guy is unkillable.
So they do get Dyrachyo in the end as Quinn using the shard. Getting off another swash. No man at all onto New, but he gets that Flamebreaker off. Nothing to say is there as well.
Glimmer Cape.
They have the Glimmer to keep Quinn safe for the time being, but eventually they do find the kill on the LGD side, and they sorely needed it, and now they can clean up the rest in the form of the Spider.
Oh, they got
so nice buybacks, and they didn't even bother with Shiro's buyback, who had it the whole time.
They got like 1,600 gold each for the Pango and the Brute kills, because they have, first of all, they're so far ahead, they have killing streaks, so all these levels that are getting pumped into this LGD draft right now with Shiro being dead, because, I mean, who cares about him? He's going to be able to deal damage anyway. What a great chrono, though, from Dyrachyo.
Disgusting. Just pay our respects, of course.
Of course.
I mean, Dyrachyo did die very shortly after. It was essentially a trade for the Luna.
I mean, Primal Beast at this stage of the game, he deals a lot of damage. Even like through your BKB, or especially when your BKB is down, he just tramples over you, you take so much damage.
Which 15 talent did he take on Nothing to
The
Say?
Dispellable one.
Okay.
It's generally, I mean, having a Dispel built into your hero is honestly so powerful. It's like when you play here into this time dilation, you just pop it, you take it off. Don't need some Lotus Orb, don't need to pop your BKB or buy some crazy-ass Manta style. You're just chilling.
Why are you smiling? He's got 1,800 into
He's
the eventual
there.
4,200 Aghanim Scepter.
Nearly halfway.
I mean, I think the problem is, against the Lotus, against the Lincolns, that doesn't help.
Nah, man. Once he gets this, it's easy game.
Are you just going for somebody else at that point? I mean, I feel like there's better items for Bane.
I mean, if you get the Axe, it's a...
Let's say he gets the Axe right now. He has enough. Is it...
It's pretty damn good, yeah.
But you can't use it on Pango.
I mean, that requires Quinn to always be an open AI bot and Lotus himself. What if you're smoking around with the Luna Aura, you see him, and you just grip his ass? Huh? What now?
I mean, that's a very specific scenario.
I mean, we're watching the best players in the world right now.
Yeah.
They can do it.
Okay.
Maybe if you're playing Bane, you're just running in and you're like, I have Axe. What could go wrong?
All right, Dyrachyo Shard. How good is that?
Very powerful.
Oh.
Top 5 carry shards.
Top carry. Okay. I like that.
It's got to be top 5 carry shards, right? It's just too good.
Yeah, it feels like a requirement to. I mean, the reverse time walk is really nice, and people can bait out pretty nice. But just the cast range alone.
Is BSJ on this panel? No.
No.
I'll ask him later.
Okay. Quinn. Oh, he actually gets a stun in the trees. I don't think he saw him initially. Neo has to pop the BKB. So it's going to be a trade for the Rolling Thunder effectively. And we can see Roche will be up in 50 seconds as a new Roche off will
Next
occur.
Roche, very important.
This is now the okay, refresher from Nothing to Say. This is going to be a nice reveal for him. So
Ooh. That's a big deal.
Can use 2 of them, one to proc the Lincolns and one
to definitely kill
stun.
Quinn, yeah.
One to get reflected by the Lotus afterwards.
Just use both on the Lotus.
Yeah, that works for sure.
Okay, smoke around. Tofu.
Tofu, he's going to get spotted by the Shivas and deleted.
He's got no buyback. This is a big deal.
It is. 15 seconds on Roche as Quinn showing himself. He's a bit surrounded right now as Shiro trying to right-click. He's going to get disarmed. Quinn now going to the low ground. As Dyrachyo pops the BKB, focusing all his efforts onto Shiro. Quinn swashbuckles but dies shortly after as the Chronosphere only catching 1 for Dyrachyo, and there's the grip. Nice pick off from LGD as Ace. Oh, they got it. The reflection was there. Ace, his TP gets canceled, and he's going to get brought down in addition. So 4 kills for LGD, and Roche is just spawning and walking down to their side.
Oh, I couldn't ask for... What's his Lincolns down on Brood? I thought the Pulverize went on the Lincolns. Either way, what a great fight from LGD. They smoke around first, they get Tofu, and then Quinn is kind of like going in to try and like bait this fight up, but Shiro pops a Satanic early, stands his ground. Lotus Sphere kind of missing Shiro here. I don't know how much it would have mattered, because I think Shiro would have died anyway, but now, whole game. See ya.
Third Roche,
Just
most
turn
important
around.
part of the game.
Yeah, we'll just wait
Until
for the 4th one.
4th.
Who's getting the Axe? Did you see it yet?
I have not seen it yet. I mean, I assume Luna still takes it, but I mean, Primal Beast Axe is insane as well. Although this game, if you're not getting a break out of it, then maybe not that important.
You can break the Faceless Void.
I think the 25 talent is breakable, right?
It should be breakable. And the Bash is breakable.
Sure.
You could also break their screen if you tried hard enough in real life.
Yeah. But yeah, the Luna Eclipse, pretty damn good.
I thought the flamethrower was bugged, but he did actually use it.
And now LGD's turn to try to go high ground. There are buybacks for Gaimin, but you can see their timers are pretty low, so they're just going to wait it out. Fortification #1 activated.
If this tower falls, you're going to have a hard time defending this one. Defending into Luna without your tower is a
very true
row moment. Okay, but there's a DD top. They don't know it yet. 15 seconds, Shannon. Will they get it?
No.
Quick answer, and the correct one too. Well done.
We'll see.
They're not getting it.
Bane might get it.
Oh yeah, he
Very
will definitely get there in 6, 5, 4.
He's going to buy a blink instead of the Ags and get there.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm close. Didn't make it.
All right, Invis Rune instead. Nothing to say.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yes?
My favorite item has been picked up with one of the best sounds in the game.
One of the best sounds?
Yes.
Nullifier? What?
No. Overwhelming blink.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
On new.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You're not hyped at all, man.
I mean, it's impactful, yeah. But it's on a Timber Saw, so it's not. If it's a Primal Beast,
He's
then
getting it too, though.
Okay, yeah. When that comes into effect, that's a good one.
This Axe now, with the 25 talent paired up on Shiro, could actually do a lot. Like the mini stuns and keeping people in place with, you know, all this damage. You yourself also get the bonus damage yourself from every single beam that hits because he has the shard.
Is it the 15 talent that gives damage for Lucent Beam?
No, that's the shard.
No, Lucent Beam damage is 20 talent. Yeah.
You're talking about the... Sure, I was thinking about the... You gain bonus attack damage with the shard when you beat people.
No, reverse time walk. Lincoln's is popped now onto Quinn.
Nope.
There's the initiation from New. Very impactful sound, as you talked about. Very hyped about the sound effects. Still, the tower is surviving as Shiro getting mana drain from about 1,200 range away. My goodness.
It's very annoying to push into this draft. You have Planet who can keep giving you mana into heals, but the stolen... Oh, New again.
Okay, the Eclipse comes out. The Ag Interceptor is ripping through Gaimin Gladiators. Quinn is just dead. Has his buyback available. Will have to expend it as Tofu gets a nice impale, but dies shortly after. And New getting pursued now, but the Timber Chain to the low ground, and just like that, LGD,
refresher.
Yep. Nothing to say, jumps right in, gets to pulverize. It's hitting several heroes, including the likes of Dyrachyo, who has to buy back now. Quinn going with the Rolling Thunder, getting nice stun onto 2.
Into the Chrono.
Onto 2 as well. Actually bounces him out, but it doesn't matter. It's enough to kill off New. And the Aegis, but that's a buyback now onto New. And not sure if Shiro...
Okay. They're just going to keep hitting the racks?
Yeah,
who cares?
That's where the Moonglaves come into effect, like you talked about. And Gaimin will have to give this up.
I mean, they have no spells for the next one too, and Why You Smile did get the axe. Doesn't have grip for a minute, so who cares about that one? And Shiro is just gonna keep whacking, nothing to say.
Okay, yeah, that's, I mean...
He's testing the Lincolns, it is ready.
Right, just to make sure it still works, that's good.
Okay, Shiro.
Shiro at half HP, telekinesis onto the high ground.
That's Satanic.
No follow-up yet.
Oh.
Impale's gonna miss, and oh my goodness, they just turned it around. That's a dieback now onto Tofu. Quinn. They're gonna turn their sights onto Quinn. This will be a dieback. I'm hitting as well.
Oh, he's dead.
The Lotus is not gonna save him this time. 2 minutes without the Pangolier as LGD close to evening up the series 1-1. The Moonglaves now having their full effect on the buildings. That's the last fortify for Gaimin Gladiators.
Uh-oh.
And LGD can just focus on the buildings. Sriracha trying to slow this as much as he can, but doesn't have the chrono, doesn't have any follow-up without that swash.
Shiro can just keep hitting. They have not a lot to really deal with him
Tier
at this
4
point.
towers are going to drop very easily, as we can see Bane with the Aghanim Scepter that he talked about. Will we be able to see it throughout this entire game? Ace, very low. The Pulverize is going to be enough to get the die back onto Dyrachyo. And like we talked about, the Aghanim Scepter on Bane wins again. Probably the highest win rate of any item in the history of Dota.
I mean, the moment they got it, 5 seconds later, they won the game.
That's true.
There you go. Top 1 axe in the game. Top 1 axe for the supports. You know, LGD, they were pretending for 25 minutes.
I guess so.
They were like, it's going to be another game, and you're just going to take it away. Quinn and your Pango, you're going to roll all over us. No. One quick defense on the top outpost or top shrine, whatever the name is nowadays, the Harry Potter's Stone of Wisdom that gives you your shard. And they just come back from one play, get the next Roche. LGD, where the haters at?
I mean, Gaimin, they also played well.
I didn't say they didn't.
No. But some of the games that they've lost, it's like, they just kind of underperform. I mean, Quinn absolutely destroyed this game. This itemization was amazing, but in the end, LGD able to overcome it with all the Lincoln's breakers. The refresher on the Nothing to Say helped out quite a bit, of course. And you can see despite the loss, Celery's still quite happy with his performance, and I can't blame him. He's a good, clean boy. But LGD, even up this series, they didn't look the greatest in game number 1, but I think more so it's just Gaimin looked that good.
Yeah.
And we were asking ourselves, of course, can they come back?
I mean, even...
And they showed it here.
Yeah, like even in game 2, Gaimin just looked very good for like 25 minutes. It took LGD a little bit to... Maybe they needed to lose a few fights to then really understand, okay, we need to wait for this, kind of push forward, wait for this item. But as soon as they made a nice adjustment from game 1 to game 2, then they win one fight, and honestly, they just brought it back very nicely. So LGD are not a team that you can underestimate at any point in any game.
Yep, I can't disagree with you. I mean, I think I mean, I guess that would probably be pretty difficult too. As a Tsunami is ready for the interview. Hello, Tsunami.
Hello, Shannon. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. As I've got Celery joining me. Celery, so gracious of you to finally let a team win a game every once in a while, but you still feel pretty energized after that game, it seems. What's going on?
I was having a good time. A lot of spells to steal. Yeah, it was fun.
سالني معانا اعزائي المشاهدين من فريق جي جي. واضح انه بعد الجيم حتى مع انهم خسروا الجيم الا انه الانرجي عندهم موجوده ومبسوطين وما عندهم اي مشكله. كانوا يقولون انه انبسطنا بالجيم صراحه، يعني ما كان في شيء معين يزعلون منه، ولا ننسى انه هذا بتكون تقريبا اول مره يخسرون جيم من فتره جدا طويله.
So I got a chance to speak to Ace earlier during the media today, and he mentioned how balance patches feel a little bit different now that you guys are like constantly winning. It almost feels like your strategies, your heroes, they have to get nerfed because you guys make it look so good. You've been in the competitive scene for a while. Have you felt that balance patches change now that you win so much?
Yeah, the balance patches feel different, but what feels even more different is that when I look at other teams, I feel like I'm looking at our drafts, which is very weird. So it's a very weird experience.
سالري معنا في المسرح سألناه إنه هل تحس إن الفترة الأخيرة البالانس باتشز اللي قاعدة تنزل في دوتا هل هي تحسها تارجتد على الفريق والهيروز اللي أنتم تلعبونها في فريق جي جي؟ لأنه زي ما احنا عارفين هم فازوا في آخر 5 ميجرز موجودة عندنا، فأكيد إنه في شيء بالموضوع. قالوا إنه فعلا أنا قاعد أحس إنه الموضوع غريب، وممكن الهيروز حقتنا هي قاعد يجيها بالانس نيرف، لكن بنفس الوقت يعني نشوف إنه باقي الفرق مو قاعدين يسوون أدابت للدرافت الجديدة.
Okay, anecdotally, we on the panel also oftentimes be like, oh, this looks like a Gaimin Gladiators draft. So then, of the teams that you've seen do it, are there any that you've been able to see them take your pieces and maybe make them a little bit better?
You mean who drafts like us? Or
Anyone who drafts like you, but then you're also able to learn from how they execute your drafts.
I mean, there's a lot of teams to learn from, but I like Liquid the most. Blitz has no originality, so he just takes our heroes, make something up your own, man.
سندري معنا في المسرح قلنا له باختصار انه هل تشوف انه في بعض الفرق قاعدين يحاولون يتبنون الدرافت حقتكم جالسين يسوونها لانفسهم في ايامهم ممكن الشيء هذا يكون فرصه انكم تتعلمون انتم من الدرافت حقهم قالوا صراحه ممكن فريق ليكويد هو اكثر فريق ممكن يسوي الشيء هذا ويعني شيء زعل يعني معليش بس نبغى انه الدرافت حقنا يصير حقنا يعني انتم دوروا لكم درافت جديد.
My last question would be pretty much any team that I ask, I say, who are you looking forward to playing? They say Gaimin Gladiators. Who are you looking forward to playing here at Riyadh Masters?
I enjoy every game against teams that are not from West or Eastern Europe because we play them so often. So this was really fun playing LGD again. It's been a while.
سألنا سدري سؤال سريع انه كل الفرق جالسين يقولون انه احنا جايين عشان نهزم فريق جيم جلاديترز لكن بنفس الوقت وش الفريق اللي انتم يا فريق جي جي تبون تهزمونهم؟ كانوا يقولون انه او الجواب حق سدري كان يقول انه بكل اختصار فريق PSG.LGD لهم فترة طويلة ما لعبوا ضدهم فكان شيء كويس انهم لعبوا ضدهم المرة هذه وايضا مبسوطين هم بكل الايام صراحة لانهم دائما يلعبون ضد الفرق الأوروبية.
Sorry, a very exciting game. Appreciate it and best of luck in the rest of the tournament. And back to the studio.
الآن خلونا نرجع للاستوديو ونتكلم عن ايش صار في الجيم هذا وكيف كانت النتيجة 1-1.
Thank you very much, Tsunami and Fancy, and what a game. PSG.LGD, they get the Game 2 victory over Gaimin Gladiators. Although they got the victory here, it was not smooth sailing, Lacoste. There were several times that honestly it seemed like GG would make the comeback. In fact, you left the green room early.
Yeah.
You thought the game was done.
I thought the game was done. I mean, the way this game started was PSG.LGD. We talked about the importance of the laning stage and that they need to, have a good lanes. They were up 4K 10 minutes into the game and managed to blow it all out in like 2 team fights. And then Gaimin Gladiators, they're playing really well, especially that like second Roshan team fight where they were like executing almost perfectly, landing a good chrono. Because in terms of having damage inside chrono, there isn't much. So Daracho was more setting things up for his own team rather than just being damage dealer during the chronosphere. And this is it. This is he manages to get out, what was that, like 50 HP, that was wild.
13.
13, okay, I stopped counting after 50.
13 HP, boy.
What a game. And Faith Beyond, you were stressing the importance of them playing quickly, trying to put Gaimin under pressure, right? The game still ended up going very, very long. But the one thing that we got to see is what you were mentioning at the beginning of the first draft. This team is very good at the mid game. They often don't get there, but when they get there, my goodness, do LG look amazing, don't they?
Yeah. A great game for LGD, and they made a great comeback. And I think... Sorry.
It's all good, fam. It's all good. I think one of the things that we also saw in this game here, Effie, is the moment that we see this Luna falling on behind a little bit in gold, right? When pressure is being applied towards her, you start to worry because normally you don't envision Luna as being that hard carry in the ultra late game, right? And we were all very skeptical about whether she could actually hang with the Faceless Void, but the execution from LGD was really something else.
I mean, she was top of the net worth the whole
For most of the
game.
time.
The whole game. She was like 10k net worth out of the void. She just...
No. Quinn was on top of the net worth most of the game,
okay.
to be fair.
But she was 10k net worth ahead of the void, is what I said. But she couldn't do anything. Like, she was just getting chain CC'd and killed before she could even use her net worth. The true carry of that game was the Timversa. He was dishing out most of the damage. He was the player who was able to separate and cause the chaos in these team fights that caused some of the chronos to be whiffed. And when you don't get the ideal chrono and your Faceless Void is playing more of a utility type of role, setting up his team in order to do damage, then you actually have a window as LGD to take the fight. And that's what happened a couple of times, and it was all they needed. That one good fight, Roshan spawned right after. It was like the cards aligned for them.
We have an illustration of the kind of fighting that we saw in this game with the STC play of the game. So let's take a quick look at what went down here in Game 2. So I'm looking at this moment here. I'm thinking to myself, all right, we are completely done. Because before this, LGD was well ahead. They had the gold lead. Faith Beyond, if a fight like this happens, right, talk to us about what the team is saying to each other to make sure they can come back afterwards, even though you just lost such a big advantage.
In this case, you have to talk about how can we still win this game and how can we win next team fight and then trying to do it. Yeah.
And actually, Faithian said something pretty insightful, I think, backstage when we were watching, Sean, of how he thinks them being mid at that point is kind of telling that some of their players are still a little bit inexperienced. Because for the most part, someone should have made the call to not hang around mid at that point and just farm. That's what should have been done. So it shows that these are valuable lessons that LGD are learning right now.
Yeah, he's the newest addition to the team and still performed really well on that Timber Saw. Yeah, you got that one, Effie. It took you a second.
Hey,
But,
at least I laughed, okay?
Yeah, I mean, some of these like mid and the late game fights were relatively easy, especially once Luna picked up that Aghanim Scepter from Roshan. This is where the game kind of broke, because you have this Timbersaw who's super farmed with Overwhelming Blink, so he wants to jump in, and then you have a Primal Beast with the Refresher, so that's gonna be like double BKB, them running in and also causing a lot of problems. So what Gaming Gladiators need to do, use the buybacks, and I kind of feel bad for them as well because of how much advantage they had. Quinn had an extremely good game, and like we could see the reaction on camera as well, where he was like, you know, like, how did we lose this game, pretty much. So yeah, there was their game to lose, and they managed to do so.
There were some cool plays around Chrono, I thought, because at some point, Primal Beast got a Ethereal Blade and used that to save his supports in Chrono. There was also Blinding Lights, and at some point, Coddle just became the fodder, the cannon fodder in that game, where he'd go in, tanks themselves, die. But then we saw when that fight happened near their tier 3, they sacrificed the Coddle, he bought back. The Luna, Luna was dead for a lot of the fights, but Coddle buys back. Suddenly, the fight turns around, right? Because there's no Chrono, the Faceless Void has no damage outside of it, and they've expended their cooldowns. So then they just chased afterwards, and when it looked like it was almost over, suddenly there was a window for them.
The hero that was spending the most time chasing across the map was our Timbersaw, and New will be earning our Kadia MVP for Game 2 due to a stellar performance on this offlane Timbersaw. Not only did he perform really well in these team fights, not only was he chasing people around all the time, but Faithian, when you're playing Timbersaw, right? How important is it to make sure that you not only secure your side of the map, or rather how difficult is it to secure your side of the map and still be controlling the rest of the game? What do you have to be thinking about as a Timbersaw player to make that happen?
You need to think about how can you make a call to your teammate to let them play with you and being at the right spot. And you can't be too aggressive, and you need to be careful to play around you. Yeah.
Okay, they played very well around him, and of course they ended up with the W on PSG.LGD. The question I have though, Lacoste, is despite the fact that this was a squad that was 4K gold up at 12 minutes, right? The game still ended up extending by quite some distance. Is this a viable template that other teams can copy when they go up against Gaming Gladiators to try and deal with the squad?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, if there's like one experienced coach, that's definitely Xiao 8, and he knows like already game 1, definitely on the draft. Second game immediately switches things up, completely different type of a draft that is, I would say, slightly more difficult to execute, but the players managed to do so. It feels like, you know, they get a really good grasp of what went wrong early on, and then it's like, okay, we're gonna play something different, and this is why team is always scary to play against.
Very scary indeed. Gaming Gladiators find themselves having to deal with a loss. Celery's still in very good spirits. No, he had a good game. He's enjoying himself. Quinn had a very, very good game. There is one thing I want to talk about that we sort of have to mention. There was a moment where we saw the Faceless Void occupy the bottom lane. Like, they had 4 heroes bottom, I think. Timbersaw was solo farming in the top lane. Like, what do you think the rationale was for Dyraicho being there on that side of the map at that point in the game, even before he had the Chronosphere?
You're in the level 5 TP?
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, it looked weird, but I understand why. He was getting kicked out of the lane by Timbersaw. He thought that maybe he'd go bottom pressure the Luna a little bit, maybe get a few kills. Like, if it worked out, it would have looked really cool. But I think overall it wasn't the worst play because Luna wasn't farming either for the duration that he was there. But I think something that happened in the early game that was kind of a misdirect by LGD, which was really cool, was that they were often rotating the Pango to Luna's lane, and they even brought the Void to Luna's lane. So everyone was just like, let's run at Luna. But in the meantime, the Primal Beast was farming mid, and the Timbersaw was farming top, so that's how they managed to get out of a 4K net worth lead early on, even though Luna died a few times to ganks.
Well, a lot of action-packed things ended up happening in game number 2 here. Of course, this is not the only action happening here at the Riyadh Masters tournament. To find out what else is occurring all across the world, let's check in with Jenkins on the ground to see what's happening on the other streams.